Hey listeners, how are you all? Thank you so much for being our awesome members. There's a lot to come more. Sit tight, be comfy, put your headphones, now let's begin. Hanabi and Neji walk side by side down the street. Hanabi had just finished their day at the academy and it was Neji's turn to take her home. Hinata was finished with her team training but has some chores to do at home. So what happened today, Hanabi-sama? He asked. Not much. Same old, Hanabi replied. I was hoping we'd learn some new jutsu or something. Patience, Hanabi-sama, Neji told her. All your hard work will pay off one day. Look at Naruto and Hinata-sama. You're right, Hanabi giggled. If I'm going to be like my sister, I'd better keep working at it. Neji Saint gave her a smile as they continued the walk back to the main house. Opening the front gate, their eyes widen. Hanabi, stay here. Don't move, I'll get help. Neji quickly ran down the road as Hanabi drops to her knees looking at the sight. Guy-sensei, Neji called out. Guy and Lee turned to see him running fast towards them. Neji. What's wrong? The Hyuga clan been attacked. What? Lee, get help. Neji, take me to them, Guy ordered. Yes sir. Lee runs off as Neji lead Guy to the main house. Neji and Guy race through the streets. Guy can sense much disturbance within Neji as they come to their destination. They hear loud crying as they look through the door. The floor was full of Hyugas, all of which have been cut several times over seemingly from all possible angles and their skin, and all around the building as blood oozes from the bodies. Quickly going deeper, they find Hanabi at Hiyashi's side. Father! Father! Hanabi cried out as she looks over her father's unmoving body. He was the only one awake out of all the Hyugas that were attacked. No one seems to be dead, Guy observed. Just severely wounded. Father! Hanabi cried again. Hiyashi-sama, Neji. Hiyashi began to talk, very slowly as his strength is slipping. He was too strong, too fast, surprised us, don't know how. Powerful. Father, save your strength, Hanabi circled. Forget about me. Hiyashi's strength was nearly all gone. You must save Hinata. With that, he loses consciousness. Neji and Hanabi were shocked to hear those words. Neji used his Byakugan and did not find Hinata anywhere. They took Hinata-sama. I can't find her. Father, Oni-san. Hanabi's tears fell from her face to her father. Lee had arrived with the medics and they quickly went to look after the fallen Hyugas. Lee quickly finds his teacher and his teammate. Lee, Guy started. I'll leave things to you, I need to pay a visit to Tsunade-sama. What happened here? Before he could get an answer, Guy leaves and he ends up looking at Neji. Hanabi and their father. 3 ninjas jump through the forest, their leader carrying the knocked out Hinata. All of them wore a long white vest with black kimono-like clothing underneath. The leader also wears a white scarf around his neck and white triangular prisms in his hair, his katana at his side. The woman to his side has short, dark hair with 2 long braids covered in cloth. She is the only one without a sword. The last one carried his sword behind his back. The youngest, a white-haired boy, seeming to be older than Hinata, with green eyes, takes a look at their captive. How long will the sleeping spell last? By the time it wears off, it'll be too late, the leader answered. I still don't get why we were hired for this. You took out all those Hyugas by yourself. The woman pointed out, while we waited outside the gates. It is understandable, the leader started. Konoha was deemed a very powerful village in the land. The Hyugas were their most powerful clan. Our client didn't want to take any chances. The woman looks at him curiously. Why didn't you kill them? I only followed the mission order, nothing more. The kid looks back where they came from. How long do you think before they send out a rescue squad? It doesn't matter, we are capable of handling whatever they send. With your ice, her speed and my flower's tea. Our so-called rescue force will be the ones that need rescuing. Hanabi stays by her father's side as Neji, Lee, Tenten and Guy stand before the Hokage. She looks out the window in deep thought. As you all know, Tsunade began. Whoever attacked the Hyugas must have been extremely powerful. It's very obvious whoever it was is after the Byakugan. Just then Kurenai, Kiba and Shino walks into the room. Tsunade turns around and meets them. You're here, Tsunade told them. You must know already the situation. Yes we do, Kurenai quickly responded. Then I'll skip straight to the mission. Tsunade puts on her serious look. I'm sending you 2 teams to retrieve Hinata as soon as possible. There is no room for error, I'll only give you 1 hour to prepare. The mysterious attacker may or may not be alone. As soon as Kakashi and Team Asuma return I will send them after you as well. Is that understood? Yes ma'am. All of them answered. Kurenai, Tsunade began. You're 1 member short, so I sent Sakura to get your replacement. He may not be much normally, but he's very dependable when it comes to his friends. Sakura enters the room. I'm back, and I got him. Naruto walks in after her. Granny Tsunade. When do I get to beat this guy up? I'll get Hinata back, believe it. Tsunade smiled at his usual energetic self. In 1 hour, you are to meet at the gates and pursue immediately. Remember, this is the one that took out the Hyuga main house by himself. We don't even know who it is or if he's with anyone. If Shizune is able to give me the report before then, I'll send it to you ASAP. If not, then you're on your own. Good luck to all of you. Kiba looks over to Naruto. Hey, make sure you leave some pieces for us. My bugs will make sure there is nothing left, Shino added. Team Kurenai leaves the room as Guy gives Naruto his signature pose. With all of us together, there's nothing to stop us. Neji walks out quietly with Lee and Tenten right behind him. No words passed, just silence. Naruto could tell that he was very worried about Hinata as well. Bring her back Naruto, Sakura told him. No worries, that guy is toast. Naruto went to leave the room. Once out he sees Hanabi. She ran and grabbed him and her tears poured onto his clothes. Oh hey, you're Hinata's little sister right? Please, she cried. Please bring her back. Don't you worry. Naruto kept a tough face. I'll bring her back, I promise. Naruto smiles at her as he leaves her standing in the hallway. Sakura has heard his words and saw him go down the hall. That was the same promise you made to me about Sasuke. Except you only have 1 chance to keep this one. Please keep it Naruto. Naruto meets up with Team Kurenai and Team Guy. Both teams were ready for the mission. Without saying a word, they nodded and left the village, following Kiba and Akamaru as they track down Hinata's scent. Hanabi and Sakura see them off, hoping for the best. Hiashi has begun to move, but Shizune lays him back down before he hurts himself even more. Hiashi-sama, you mustn't force yourself. I couldn't tell them, it was. Tsunade looks out her big window, they should have gone by now. This is just like that time. Only now the enemy is much stronger. Tsunade sits down to do her paperwork as she picks off a couple sheets from a very tall pile, one of many piles. After a while she hears a loud thumping heading her way and awaits whoever it is that will come through the door. Shizune busts through as Tsunade had predicted. Tsunade, the one that attacked the Hyugas. It was a miss. Nin. Shizune stops shortly to catch her breath. A missing nin. From which land? Shizune continues to breath heavily. It was one of the missing nin, from the land of lost heaven. Them. Tease. Unaid quickly stands and stares out the window. Then that means that the rescue team will be facing all 3 of those missing nins. Be careful everyone. The 2 teams the forest. Jumping through the trees like there is no tomorrow. Guy, Kurenai, Naruto called to them. Can we pick up the pace? Guy smiles. I like your youthful energy Naruto. But what about those that aren't as energetic? Actually, Kurenai began. You, Guy, Lee and Neji can go ahead. I'll follow with the rest. Kiba speaks up. It looks like they're only going in a straight path, just keep going forward. Right then, Guy proclaimed. Lee, Neji, are you 2 ready? For Hinata-sama, yes sir, let's go. Guy ordered and all 4 of them picked up their speed. Tenten is worried about Neji's mental state. Neji. Hey Tenten, Kiba called her. I'm certain Neji will do fine. He and Naruto will get Hinata back, just you wait. Thanks Kiba. Tenten's spirits lifted a little as they continue onward. As they race through the forest, the only thing on their minds is getting to Hinata as soon as possible. Naruto however, wants to beat up the guy that took her, make him wish he was in the underworld. The sun slowly sets before completely leaving the sky. The rogues cease their movement deep into the night. Naruto, Guy, Lee and Neji keep pushing forward. Naruto, hey Naruto. Guy cried out. Yeah what? We need to stop for a rest now. But what about, even if do catch up to them, what's the point if we're too tired to fight? Guy asked him. Naruto was silent. Remember Naruto, this is only one person that took out the whole Hyuga clan by surprise. We need to be as prepared as we can. Not only that, our chances increase when we have the rest of our friends. Right. Naruto obeyed. Guy found them a spot to lay down. Lee starts the fire as everyone else sets their gear. In time, Kurenai and the rest catch up. Neji volunteered to keep watch. Naruto also volunteers. Neji jumps to a TR. EE and Naruto follows while the rest of them get some shut-eye. I should have been there. I could have helped Hinata-sama to escape. Even if that happened, the attacker could still get the other Hyugas. Naruto replied. Listen, we will get Hinata back. I'll make sure of it. Thank you, Naruto. Hinata wakes up drowsily holding her head. Her eyes take a few seconds to adjust to her surroundings before she realizes where she is. A small fire was burning in front of her. There was some food laid out. Two people were sleeping right next to the fire, a man and a young woman. It was only then that she remembered. The man had attacked her clan by surprise. His technique, she couldn't see it nor was she able to determine what it was. All she could remember was that everything was normal as sakura petals flew into the house. Then all of a sudden many cuts and slashes appeared all over the people in the house itself. Everywhere except on her. That was when he appeared and cast some technique. Hinata figured it had to have been some sort of knockout or sleeping skill. Hinata looks around to find a good way to escape. You're awake. Hinata hears the voice and froze before she could get up. Turning slowly, ever so fearful, she sees a white-haired boy sitting on a low tree branch looking at the sky. He seemed older than she is. Our client said to take you dead or alive, alive preferably, the boy said without turning. She knew this was a threat. If she tried to escape she'd die, but if she let herself get captured then the secrets of the Byakugan will be discovered. She only had one choice left. She had to take the secrets with her. If you're planning to die, I would advise against it, the white-haired boy spoke again. This time he hopped off the branch and stood over her. I am certain your village would send a retrieval squad after us. Who knows, it could even be your friends. What do you think will happen if they find out their hard work was for nothing? Hinata stayed quiet. She didn't want to talk to one of the ones that kidnapped her. If her friends were after her, she can't just give up yet. If not, the boy kneeled down to meet her eye to eye. We'll kill them. Hinata's eyes grew at those words. He spoke the truth. If Hinata was dead they would lose all their focus and die at the hands of these people. It only took one of them to take out the Hyuga clan. Who knows what all three could do? The chance of her friends coming for her may be slim, but she knows the Hokage will make sure it happens. She has to stay alive, so that her friends can save her. They will not let her be taken away. No matter what. The boy points to the food by the fire. That's yours, we rather you don't starve to death. He goes over to take the food and place it in front of Hinata. He then sits in front of her, as if to make sure she eats the food. She takes the food nervously as he stares at her. Eventually after a couple bites she blushes a little and looks away. I was only trying to find out why those eyes are so important, the boy told her. Hinata blushes a bit more as she found that he was staring into her eyes. The boy stood again, but this time he isn't as menacing. Finish up what you're eating. Our leader will put the sleeping spell back onto you in the morning. You had best cooperate. What's your name? The boy went over to a nearby tree to lean back to. I don't know why you're so curious about it. This may be the last name you will know, or hear. I am Hitsugaya Tushiro. I am usually called Hitsugaya. Thank you. I'm Hinata. Hinata continued to eat under his watchful eyes. Why would you tell me your name before you die? Hitsugaya kept an eye on her before the blackness took over. Morning came. Naruto quickly packed up as the rest of the crew readied as well. They immediately jumped to the trees to continue pursuit. As if listening to Guy's advice, Naruto never asked to race ahead of the pack, so as all of them will fight together at full strength. Everything they have to save Hinata. Hitsugaya, wake up. The boy hears the voice of his female companion as he opens his eyes. I'm awake, Soi Fong. Apparently he had fallen asleep throughout the night. Yet he did not know how. All he remembers is watching Hinata eat. Quickly finding the sun's position, it is around midday. His leader was the next to speak. What were you planning to do with our mission objective? Hitsugaya. Not understanding what he is talking about, his hands feel something on his lap. It was their captive, her head sleeping soundly on top of his lap. I was only making sure we get the highest possible payout. She is fine as she is, the leader told him. Lay her on the ground so I can cast the spell. He did as told, gently placing her head on the ground as he stood up. Though finding a small wet spot where her head was quite irritated him. She drooled on me. The leader finished his spell and carried the sleeping hostage. They began to race through the forests again. Hitsugaya was deep in thought about what happened last night. Why would Hinata ask for his name? Why would she give him hers? Why did she sleep on him? Those questions puzzled him as they hopped from tree to tree. He tried to imagine her position, having seen her whole clan suddenly attacked and herself being kidnapped. Once they reach their destination, she will die. If she kills herself, the rescue team will die by their hands. No escape, no hope, just death. She would have needed something, or someone to cling onto for her last living moments. He was the only choice as he was the one that is physically the closest. Something wrong? Soi Fong questioned him. It's nothing, I'm just thinking about what kind of rescue squad they'll send after us. The leader overhears their conversation. They don't even know who attacked them. A rushed team would have been made of strong ninjas. They are nothing to worry about. The trio keeps moving onward. Acing through the forest and jumping through the trees. Hitsugaya hears a small twig snap behind him. Rasengan. The boy was barely able to move out of the way in time as Naruto hits a tree, turning it into toothpicks. Team Guy and Team Kurenai soon followed as Soi Fong and the leader stopped to see what was happening. Hey you, envy back Hinata or else. Author. There you have it, Chapter 2. As promised, a breakdown of the three characters' fighting capabilities in the Bleach world. I won't go into any specifics about any terms or such, keep it as basic as I can. Soi Fong very fast, very agile and very physical. She normally has a sword as well, but for the sake of this fic she won't. Not only that, she is also capable of combining magic with physical attacks to make herself even stronger and faster. I'll have to change that something else to fit the Naruto universe. Hitsugaya, though the youngest, he can be very tough. With his sword he can call out a dragon of water and ice that can freeze anything it touches. Even control the weather. Going all out, he fuses with water and ice, granting him wings and a tail made of those two elements. Anything that his sword, wings and tail touches will instantly freeze. The sword's name is Hiranmara. Leader, I haven't said his name yet, but I'm certain those who are familiar with the series know who it is. His sword can break down into hundreds of tiny blades. When the light hits those blades, they look like sakura petals. A stronger attack is when he holds his sword upside down and drops it. It sinks into the ground like it was water. Then many huge swords appear from the ground behind him on either side in 2 rows. Each one of those swords then breaks down into thousands of tiny blades that he can control the same way Gaara can control his sand. That's it for now. I'll add more info on them, as well as another one of the leader's attacks that is even stronger than the level 2 feat attack, within the FIC itself. The missing Nin's turn to see had tried to attack them. It was the rescue force, made up of Team Guy, Team Kurenai and Naruto. The green beast of Konoha, I've so much about you, Soi Fong said aloud. Guy and Kurenai realizes now who stands before them, the missing Nin from the land of lost heaven. Kurenai starts to get worried about their chances of succeeding their mission. Of all the possible ninjas, it had to be these 3. The leader broke the silence. Soi Fong, take care of them. Understood. Hitsugaya, we'll continue with the mission. The leader and Hitsugaya jump off as Soi Fo. Ing removes her white jacket and readies for battle. Hey wait you. Naruto screamed to the leader and began to chase after them. Soi Fong appeared instantly in front of him and is about to hit him with a kick until Lee jumped in to block the attack. This kid is fast, but not fast enough. She moves again behind Lee this time. Guy came in to stop her attack. Soi Fong, missing Nin from the land of lost heaven. A taijutsu expert who is unable to use any ninjutsu or genjutsu, Guy told them as he held her leg. Kurenai, take the others and go ahead. Me and Lee can handle this. Good luck, Kurenai wished him. Her team, Naruto, Neji and Tenten jump off to give pursuit to the other two missing nins. Don't underestimate me, Soi Fong kicked at Guy, who released her leg and joined Lee. Guy gives off his trademark smile and thumbs up, don't underestimate us either. Lee, take off your weights, won't be able to fight unless you do. Yes sir. Soi Fong charged in and Guy blocks another kick aimed for his face. Guy went for an uppercut, only to have his hand caught and used as a catapult for her to jump over him. Guy just stands there as she land behind, she immediately ducks down to avoid. Da kick by Rock Lee and hops up to evade a low sweep kick by Guy. Lee brings his foot back around to hit the air as Soi Fong vanished. Guy and Lee also accelerate to high speeds. A tree bursts into tiny pieces as the young woman narrowly misses Lee. The boy's counter kick ends up getting caught and she throws him away. The teacher comes in with another kick, which ends up being blocked. Soi Fong tries to stab him with her fingers, but he just jumps high above, revealing Lee flying in, his fist wound up. Soi Fong pushes the fist to her side and counters with a punch to the face. Guy flies down and she moves to the side as his fist breaks apart the branch. She does a spin kick to hit Guy in the back and send him to the air. Lee breaks through the branch under her, his foot hitting her gut. Lee continues with a barrage of kicks to send her higher. Soi Fong notices the cloth around his arms are loosened. After a few hits she catches one of his feet and holds it. Lifting her leg, she brings it down to send her heel to his stomach, making him feel pain. His body drops down, but the woman quickly follows, intending to kill him with a finishing kick. Before she could hit her target, a leg hits the woman in the gut and Guy kicks her off. He chases after the flying body as it lands on another tree. Guy backs off when Soi Fong kicks, only to be hit in the shoulder by hidden kunai fired from her leg. He quickly removes it before getting hit in the face. Lee flies in to hit her back while she was recovering from the attack. The loose cloth on his arms were torn off. Guy-sensei, I'll be fine Lee, it's only a scratch. Yet all of them can clearly see a small red color coming out of where the kunai hit. The woman smiles a bit before she speaks, that is not only a scratch. You'll find out soon. They accelerate once more, their punches and kicks connecting over at high speeds. The leader continues onward carrying the unconscious girl with the white-haired boy right behind him. Hitsugaya wondered how long it will take for Soi Fong to finish her battle and catch up. The only real threat he could acknowledge from the rescue squad was the one she called Green Beast. Not only that, to send some kids after them. Either the village is very stupid or those kids are very close friends to the girl. Just who is she? That won't matter in the long run. Those kids are no match for the powers of Lost Heaven. They have come, the leader spoke out. Hitsugaya grabs his sword and turns around, deflecting some aerial weapons headed straight for him. Without saying a word, he knew he was ordered to stay and fight them off. The leader keeps jumping forward as the white-haired boy sees his opponents come to him. He notices the Green Beast, and the boy that looked like him weren't with this group. This makes things difficult, a Junin and several genin against a missing nin, normally that would be nothing to worry about for him. But if only two of them stayed to fight Soi Fong, how strong could they really be? Checking out his enemies, one of them had the exact same eyes as Hinata. There was a dumb blonde, an afro with dark shades, a girl with buns, and a boy that is with his dog. The Junin doesn't seem to be that much of a threat though. Where is Hinata-sama? You're a Hyuga too. Why would you ask me when you're not going to succeed? What? Neji activates his Byakuya. Gon and all of the boys give the white-haired kid a mean look. You better tell us where she is. Naruto yelled out. Hitsugaya pointed with a thumb over his shoulder. She's that way, but you don't want to go there. Even if you do manage to get past me, our leader is much stronger than me or Soi Fong, you will never stand a chance. That is, if you pass me. I already know you won't be able to defeat me. Oh yeah, says who? Hitsugaya Tushiro, missing nin from the land of Lost Heaven. Naruto charged forward with a kunai in hand. The swordsman blocks it with his blade and pushes Naruto back. His eyes start to twirl as what he sees is becoming altered. Genjutsu. Hitsugaya closes his eyes and begins to focus. Your genjutsu won't work on me. He flash steps behind where he feels Kurenai. The genjutsu stops and Kurenai has been cut deep. Slowly she falls over before falling off the NH completely. Shino and Kiba catch her as she falls and lays her on the ground below the trees. Shish. Ino does a quick examination while Hitsugaya turns around to face everybody else he passed. They gave him a mixed looks of both surprise and hearted. They're determined, I'll give them that. But it'll make more than mere determination to succeed. Kurenai is still able to speak. I'll be fine, just F yourself. That kid is not like anyone you've faced before. She's just been cut deeply, Shino explained. She's alright for now but she won't be able to move. We'd best leave her here. Go, Kurenai told them. Alright, Kiba acknowledged. Shino and Kiba joined the rest of their team to face against the white-haired swordsman. Hitsugaya holds his weapon in front of him and readies to face off against the 5 genins. The air is tense as the two sides only stare at each other, as if waiting for the first move. Naruto inched his leg. Hitsugaya tightens his grip on his weapon, a bead of sweat sliding down both of their heads. Neji watches both their actions, himself very nervous. Naruto suddenly runs fast. Neji follows right behind him. Hitsugaya jumps high into the air watching the running ninja. Ice starts to cover his sword and then the sky quickly turns dark. Neji stops to see what he is doing while Naruto continues onward. What a huge amount of chakra. He's creating water and ice from his chakra. Set upon the frosted heavens, Hitsugaya cried out. Hiranmara. With a swing of his sword, a long snake-like dragon emerges from the ice and water. The dragon flies around the swordsman to give the genin a sea of its speed and size, all but Naruto stood watching it dance around, wondering what it could be capable of. Hitsugaya points with his sword to give an order to it, attack the ninja that was running away, Naruto. I won't let you escape. Go Hiranmara. The ice dragon dives as Kiba, Shino and Tenten quickly get out of its way. Everything it came into contact with froze, covering it in a thin layer of ice. Naruto hears several noises of breaking branches behind him. He turns to look at the blue dragon heading straight for him. Kaden. Neji jumps in front of Naruto and activates his whirl. The two chakras collide and the dragon is slowly being disintegrated as it hits the Kaden, freezing the chakra to make a small dome around Neji. Neji breaks through the ice with his palms. Still in the air, Hitsugaya swings his sword once more to create another dragon of water and ice. Neji looks at Naruto. Go Naruto. Save Hinata-sama. If anyone can do it, it's you. We'll deal with things here. Leave it to me. Do your best guys. Naruto runs off. What is that girl to you? To send off only one member, knowing full well he doesn't stand any chance to beat the leader. Yet still hoping he can get her back. I want to know. I want you to tell me without saying anything, what she means to you. Hitsugaya points his sword at the remaining genins. The dragon dives down as Neji, Tenten, Kiba and Shino watch it come down from the sky. Hitsugaya's dragon flies down and everybody separates. From the air, he controls the dragon, going after his targets. Kiba and Akamaru desperately try to get away from it, racing across the trees. The dragon just rips through anything in its way. Tenten launches many weapons at Hitsugaya, who is able to deflect all her attacks easily. Shino used this to sneak up behind him, but it wasn't enough. Hitsugaya's chain and moon blade wrapped around one of Shino's arms. Neji sees the action and finds that the chain and blade had suddenly appeared from the handle of the swordsman's sword. Where did that come from? Is it a genjutsu? Shino's caught arm begins to freeze. The ice dragon gives up the chase and flies up to its master. Shino breaks apart into several bugs as Hiranmara flies through. Hitsugaya senses several aerial weapons coming at him. The ice dragon surrounds his master, blocking any and all of the flying weapons. Shino jumps high to meet with the kid swordsman. He makes some seals with his hands. After finishing, his hands were completely covered in his bugs as he points towards the blue dragon. Insect fire technique. The bugs breathe out a small burst of flame, all combing them into one huge fire. All that crashes with the white-haired kid's dragon. The dragon shatters and Hitsugaya floats a bit and drops to the nearest branch. Hitsugaya senses someone behind him. Neji missed an attack to the swordman's back. Putting on the pressure, Neji continues to try to hit him. Hitsugaya easily dodges Neji's attacks, tilting his head back and forth, side to side, adjusting his body to completely avoid Neji's attacks. Finding an opening, Hitsugaya counters with his sword. Neji moves swiftly to evade the metal blade, having to make use of side steps and several jumps as Hitsugaya chases after him. Anything they pass is usually cut. From below, Hitsugaya gets hit by what seems like twin tornadoes. He gets knocked back and lands on a branch. The two tornadoes stop to reveal two kibas. They charge again, chasing after the white-haired boy. The two whirlwinds spin after Hitsugaya. Looking back, he sees them coming closer. His eyes back at the front, Shino has readied his bugs for another attack. A fireball flies trough the trees and the swordsman is headed right for it with twin whirlwinds right behind him. Stopping completely, the boy jumps off the branch as the fireball passes. Kiba and aka Maru make some room between them to let the flame pass and stops to look for their opponent. Hitsugaya, who had swung his chain around the branch he jumped off of, comes up to kick a Kiba in the chin. The other one just growls and uses the Gatsuga. The swordsman jumps up high to keep away from it completely. In the air once more, he swings his sword again, creating another dragon of water and ice. Guy, Lee and Soi Fong continue to battle it out. With their high speed, no regular person could watch. With their high strength, no normal being would have survived. Rock Lee sees a perfect opportunity, Konoha whirlwind. He hits Soi Fong hard, the body of the woman is sent back flying. Recovering from the attack, she sees a piece of tree flying at her. Dodging it, she comes face to face with Guy. They give a short exchange of kicks and punches until Guy feels something strange with one of his arms. It won't move. In his confusion, Soi Fong kicks him hard in the face. Guy manages to land safely as Lee comes to his side. "What's wrong, Guy-sensei? I can tell you," the woman talked with a very confident voice. "The kunai I hit him with, it was covered with a slow-acting paralyzing drug at will eventually flow through your whole body. I made it slow because I prefer to use my own two hands to finish off my enemies." "I'll be alright, Lee," Guy reassured him. "We can take her. You have more youth than she does and we can combine our energy to make a big explosion." Guy gives his signature smile and thumbs up. Soi Fong just gives a weird look. Is this really the green beast of Konoha? Guy, Lee and Soi Fong accelerate once more. Lee goes in throw the attack with Guy backing him up. Soi Fong jumps down to dodge both of them and comes up behind. Guy turns and uses his moving hand to catch a kick. The woman lifts her other leg and twirls to hit Guy in the face. Landing on all four, she jumps out of the way to avoid Lee's counterattack. Soi Fong attempts to punch Lee, he ducks it ND then jumps to make sure she didn't have a follow-up. Guy comes in and kicks her hard. Guy follows up with many fast kicks aimed high. Side to side, left to right. Soi Fong is unharmed because of her moving hands. She begins to attack with kicks of her own. As several of their attacks connect, shockwaves spread out from the pure power put into them. The woman manages to grab hold of his leg. After a brief smile appears on her lips, she pulls him closer as she goes forward. Her palm hits Guy right in the chest with such a force that he flies through a couple trees. Lee had snuck in from above and knocked her head down with his heel. Almost immediately his target countered with a strong back flip, her foot hitting him right on the chin. As he is hit, she quickly lands and dash punches Lee, sending him to Guy. She follows only to met with 2 feet, one from each of them. She quickly recovers and goes into the attack as her 2 enemies rush in. Naruto runs frantically through the trees, leaves and branches. Now it is just him and him alone. He has to brine her. What? Everyone is counting on him. Please, please bring her back. Go Naruto. Save Hinata-sama. If anyone can do it, it's you. Hinata. Naruto makes haste. Drastically increases his speed. When you cheered me on, I felt like I had become stronger than before. After the preliminaries, I was able to like myself a little more. I think I was able to change. And I think it was thanks to you, Naruto-kun. Hey Hinata, did you really think that? I may look strong from your point of view, but I always screw up, and I just act strong because I'm mad. That's not true. Even if you did make a mistake, you were always from my point of view, a proud man who makes lots of mistakes. When I looked at you, there was this impact on my heart. You're not perfect, you make mistakes, and you get stronger from them. I believe that is true strength. Naruto-kun, you are a strong person. Thank you, Hinata, I will protect you, no matter what. As the wind blows in his face, tears flow from his eyes into the air. The leader of the kidnappers presses onward, not wanting to go too far ahead that his teammates may never catch up but at just the right speed to stay away from any pursuers that may have passed Hitsugaya, not that any one of them had that chance. Still, something doesn't feel right. Eventually, he finds himself at a large clearing that leads to a cliff. He slowly walks over the edge and looks down. There is huge clearing below the very tall cliff. The leader turns around to face the direction he came from and places Hinata on the ground. Walking over the body, he moves closer to the forest and awaits whatever it was that he had been sensing. An orange-clad boy with blonde hair pops out of the forest and faces him angrily. The boy looks at the sleeping girl behind the kidnapper, Hinata. So, you were the only one to pass Hitsugaya, the leader spoke to him. But to send only you, is the rescue squad full of fools? Hey you, give Hinata back or else. The leader questioned the boy's intelligence. I admire your courage, I suppose I should reward you with my name. I don't care what your name is. Naruto shouted angrily. If you don't give back Hinata then I'm going to beat you up. You cannot beat me, the leader stated. You can't even bring me down to one knee. Oh yeah, shadow clone technique. Several hundred Naruto copies appear throughout the area. You can't defeat with that technique, the leader mocked. He looked around to find that these clones were not mere shadows, but actual clones. To keep my word, I am Kuchiki Byakuya. The Narutos all dash in towards Byakuya, who just stands there waiting for them. Guy's back hit a tree after he was attacked from the front. Lee goes over to his side. Something was wrong. Soi Fong lands nearby. By now my potion should have gotten to your other arm. After that it's your legs. But it's no fun letting a bunch of water defeat my opponents. She throws out some sort of pill into the air and swallows it easily. Guy wondered what that was she just took. Lee is getting tense as he doesn't know what is happening. Soi Fong's body is suddenly covered with overflowing chakra. Guy watches as the chakra seems to be absorbed into her muscles. You see, she began. What I just swallowed was a special custom-made medicine. It greatly increases my chakra as well as fuse it into me. Meaning I'm even stronger and faster now. As if to demonstrate, she dashes for them. Guy and Lee were barely able to move out of the way of her attack as it shatters a big tree. As the two were still moving from the dodge, they were hit by kicks. Both of them hit a tree, the bark on them broke apart into splinters. They began falling to the ground below, hitting several branches on the way down. Soi Fong smiles as she sees them hit the bottom. Lee struggles to get up as he sees Soi Fong land and slowly walk towards the helpless guy. Byakuya draws his sword, cutting clone as he does so. He quickly moves in to cut up some more Naruto clones. Every time a Naruto gets near, he flash steps and whoever he passed poofs. 3 Naruto some in with kunais and the leader just blocks them all with his blade. He easily pushes them away from him with a swing. Cutting up some more that came in from the air, he sees a Naruto going for the mission objective. He calmly points his palm at that Naruto. Way of Destruction number 31, Red Flame Cannon. A red ball of energy fires from his palm, flying at its target. An explosion follows on impact, sending Naruto flying. He rolls on the ground getting covered in dust. The Narutos stop their attack as the real one gets up. I told you that your technique can't defeat me, the leader stayed emotionless. Also, did you not say you were going to beat me up? Shut up, Naruto scowled. My mission is to save Hinata, then you'll get yours right after. Was this mission given to you or did you decide to do it long before? Byakuya questioned. What the hell do you know? She's my friend, and I won't forgive anyone that hurts my friends. Your level of determination, it's very clear that she is not merely a friend to you. The leader observed. If you truly believe you can save her, then come. Take this. Naruto made a sign with both his hands, making sure his opponent can see it. Byakuya was unaffected. 2 fingers, the middle one on each hand. How original. All the Narutos dive in to attack the kidnapper. Guy can barely move from that hard hit. A view of Soi Fong nearing him, all he could see. That is until he noticed Lee getting up as hard as he could. He already opened 2 gates just to be able to fight. Lee, you fought very hard alongside me. I'm very proud of you. I'm sorry I couldn't do any more. The woman stands over the downed Junin. This is the end for you, Maida Guy. Her chakra overflows once more, intent on a killing blow. Savoring her victory, she stares at her helpless victim. A short gust of wind blows behind her, yet she could tell this isn't any regular wind. Turning around, she could see Lee somehow powering up. What is this? The woman seemed to panic a little as Lee continues to draw out his chakra. Lee, I will not let you kill Guy-sensei. Lee roared. He is my teacher. He has done so much for me. I will not just stay here and watch. I will defeat you myself, for me and for him. Guy-sensei, if you think I'm not doing the right thing, then I'm sorry. I cannot bear to see you go right before my eyes. The chakra seemed to overflow at a rapid speed. Soi Fong doesn't know what to make of it, but she's certain she can fight back. Guy, however, was happy to see Lee giving everything he has for the both of them. The chakra seemed to explode as Lee's skin turned red. Soi Fong prepares for an attack, but Lee doesn't move. Now for the 4th gate. The wound gate, open. Lee roared out. 4th gate. Is that one of the 8 gates? I've only heard of them, so they exist. What is the extent of that power? Lee gets ready, as does Soi Fong. A full charge attack and the ground breaks. Lee hits Soi Fong heavily. The great gust of wind blows in Guy's face. Soi Fong clenches her chest as she flies back. She lets her chakra overflow once more and kicks behind her to connect with one of Lee's legs. They bounce off of each other onto the trees, where they seem to be flying through the forest as they seem to move instantaneously from tree to tree. Anywhere they jumped from seemed to crack. Every time they hit each other, a large shockwave follows, creating strong winds to blow the surrounding area. Lee tries a jump kick. It was blocked and the woman counters by grabbing his leg and pulling him in to punch his chest. Lee catches her arm and they hold each other's limbs as they seem to float in the air. The boy swings his free leg around for another attack. His opponent raises her knee to guard against it. They separate and bounce around the trees once more, spreading shockwaves whenever they try to attack. Both them raced along the trees, just their intense speed is creating gradients to damage anything unfortunate to be near. The fight climbs up through the woods. Soi Fong manages to catch another kick somehow. She spins him around and around before throwing him at a tree. Lee lands on the tree with his legs in a hand as the sudden speed in the area caused a lot of leaves to blow up into the air. Lee looks angrily at Soi Fong while the leaves flutter in the air. She stares back him. The boy quickly flies off the tree to race around once more. This kid, how can this be happening? He's still getting faster. Lee's kick is caught by a single hand, yet Soi Fong was hit with the other foot before she could react. In the middle of recovering, she gets hit once more in the gut, then right at her back. The woman barely managed to deflect a fist to her face, a spin kick to the side, and Lee broke through a tree. Yet he quickly returned through where he crashed a mere instant ago, before the top piece even begins to fall. Soi Fong managed to guard one punch, but the following kick came immediately from behind. Lee quickly moved from tree to tree, hitting Soi Fong with unbelievable speed power. The attacks keep sending her higher and higher, until they reach the treetops. Now to finish this, Lee continues to pound on Soi Fong without giving her an instant to think, sending her even higher than the treetops. Lee kicks Soi Fong high into the sky. Now with his last jump, he goes past her and awaits the defenseless body. Lee dives down towards his opponent. Soi Fong is unable to react because of great uncertainty and fear. 5th gate, forest gate, open. A heavy hitting fist gets her in the gut and she is sent downwards at incredible speed. Something suddenly pulled on her. Managing a look, some of the boy's cloth is wrapped around her waist and he is tugging on it. Lee pulls her towards him and extends his leg and free arm as she nears. Primary lotus. A massive wind erupts from the impact. Great volumes of dust fly through the air. Soi Fong crashes through a great deal of branches. falling at a high speed towards the ground as Lee hold himself from screaming from the pain. Soi Fong's body crashes on the forest floor, sending even more wind and dust up into the air. As the dust cleared, there was an impact crater focused around where her body lay. She didn't move, she couldn't move with all the damage she took. Her eyes stared up into the sky, the sun started to hide behind some clouds. Her vision became blurred and began to fade out. A great deal of blood flew out from her mouth as she coughed. Her eyes slowly began to close before the darkness took over. Lee fell from where he was. Exhausted from the fight and the pain. Guy forces himself to move as he sees Lee fall. Barely able to make it, Guy dives under the falling boy and Lee lands on top of him. Guy manages to roll from under him and up onto a rock. He stares at the young boy, holding back his tears as is very proud and amazed at his student. Lee slowly regains consciousness, blinking his eyes, but can never get up. He turns his head over to his teacher, Guy-sensei. Just rest, Lee. Guy smiled happily at his apprentice. You really deserve it. Lee smiles back at him before closing his eyes as Guy looks up. Guy wonders what could be happening. The sky is darkening, not a good sign. I hope everyone else is fine. Kurenai also notices the condition of the sky. If that kid can control water and ice, then everyone's in danger. Hitsugaya was able to find an opening to rest and sense the atmosphere change as well. He looks at the sky. Guess I overdid it a little, it's not supposed to rain. He looked back in front of him to see Tenten swing her staff at him. He guards with his sword and goes in for the counterattack. The Narutos continue their onslaught, miserably. No matter how many clones attack, Byakuya easily dodges, blocks, counters and cuts. In one swing 20 Narutos poofed. Several clones did a slide dash, causing him to jump up into the air with the clones following. A few of them tried to attack him with kunais, only for them to be easily blocked. By holding the kunais, they came in to strike up close. Unfortunately, Byakuya deflects them off to his side and cuts them before moving on to the next clone. On his way down, many more Narutos try to attack, only to poof away seconds later. There was one clone he didn't notice though, as it aimed for his legs rather than his body. It managed to knock one of his legs off to the side, forcing him to land on one knee. This greatly surprised him. Ah, what's the matter? A Naruto mocked. I told you not to underestimate me. You even said I can't bring you down to one knee. Well, look where you are now. Don't get confident, brat. Byakuya was still as emotionless as ever as he got up. He brought his sword in front of him and faced the Naruto army. Scatter, Senbon Sakura. The sword broke apart into what looked like sakura petals. The Narutos just stood there wondering what was happening as the petals flew by them. The wind blows some more as the Narutos become very nervous. In an instant, all the clones disappeared. The real Naruto's eyes widened. Didn't know what just happened, or what just hit him. Naruto was suddenly cut in several areas. Blood slowly flowed out from the cuts and down his skin. He dropped to his knees as he sees the kidnapper's sword reform from the pink petals. He put the sword back into its sheath and turned around. You are no match for me, Byakuya coldly told him as he fell all the way down. I am much too strong for you. You will fail this mission. It was set in stone long before you even knew about me. By now even you should know. It is a fact that you cannot change. You can. Naruto yelled out loud. Don't label people just like that, you idiot. Beat him up. Hinata. The people around him took a look at Naruto, surprised at his sudden support. Hinata. Naruto continued to cry out. Why don't you say something back? It's making the people watching get angry. That's right. Naruto thought as he stared at the ground at his face, while Byakuya turned to slowly walk towards the sleeping girl. She was trying to change, prove to Neji that you can go against fate with hard work. Her determination, she didn't back down no matter how strong the enemy was. Now I can't let her down here. Byakuya stood over his captive. He had stopped because he felt something in the air that was out of place. B.A. Bump. Author. Well, that's it for this chapter. Really hope you like it. Even put in an tiny FFVIIAC reference as well. Think church fight. Hey, I promised myself not to work on more than 2 stories at once. Well, I've got this one and my Nagima one, but now I've got a third one in my head. Another Naruto crossover, being the Hinata fan that I am. You can guess who is going to star in it. You may or may not see it as soon as I finish this or my Nagima FIC, as I doubt it'll be a good crossover, or a good story. I mean seriously, a duck, a dog and a kid with a key going against some ninjas. Byakuya turned around. A mere instant later he was punched in the face and both he and his attacker began fall off the cliff. Byakuya notices something different about the boy. His body was covered in a red aura, and his eyes, though all he got was a glimpse, his now red eyes showed extreme anger and determination. While they begin to fly off, Naruto grabbed Byakuya's vest near the neck and kicked him downwards. Concentrating chakra to his feet, the kidnapper managed to grab some footing along the rocky wall. Naruto continued to fall past the man. He creates some clones to make a ladder and swing the real one towards the wall. The older man charged down the wall. As soon as the real Naruto stood straight on it, the clones began their assault. Byakuya flash steps behind each one as he passes by, the clones disappearing one after the other. The real one quickly jumped, turned around and blocked an attack, surprising the kidnapper as they begin to fall. With his free hand, Naruto tries to punch him in the face. Byakuya raised an arm to push the fist off target. Using THKS him square in the chest. Separated, Naruto chases after his opponent, kunai in hand. Byakuya was surprised at his sudden increase in speed and strength, but it was nothing he can't handle as he easily blocked all of the kunai swings. With the advantage of range and speed, Byakuya aimed for Naruto's head. The sword just stopped short of its target. It had pierced though Naruto's free hand which was brought up to block the attack. Grabbing hold of the sword, regardless of the pain, Naruto swipes at his enemy with his kunai, making a slash mark down his shoulder. Byakuya reacted by pulling the sword back and launched a fireball at point blank. The ensuing explosion separated them even further apart. Though he only managed a peek while chanting for the fireball, Byakuya saw that the cut on Naruto's hand had quickly healed itself. The two ninja landed on their feet. Byakuya quickly closed the gap with a flash step and Naruto counters with his own speed. Tenten swung her staff relentlessly, forcing the swordsman on the defensive as his dragon keeps the other three away. A low swing. Hitsugaya jumped and flipped over. A high swing above her. He only had to block it as he went over. Back to back, the swordsman ducked to avoid another swing as his opponent turned around. He tries to counter with his own swing only to have it deflected. Tenten moves in close, swings her weapon up to his face. A simple movement of the sword is all he needed to block. But the staff broke into 3 sections and the end section that passed him began to swing around. Hitsugaya was hit at the side of his head. Bouncing off the ground with his hand, he creates distance as Tenten gives chase. Suddenly charging forward, Tenten brings up her staff to block the sword. Still blocking, she spins herself so that one end of the staff flies towards her opponent. Hitsugaya turned around, allowing the staff to pass him as he does. Ha! They both stopped each other's attacks after doing a full turn. Their weapons were at the side, keeping the other from coming any closer. Tenten brought the other end over and the swordsman had to jump back to avoid it. The girl began rapid thrusts towards him. He easily managed to escape being hit as she pushes him back. The swordsman managed to wrap her weapon with the chain and blade, but it was a mistake. Tenten brought the front end down to the branch, tugging him in as she spun around the weapon with her foot stretched out. Hitting him in square in the face, causing the chain to disappear. Stumbling, he held his nose as Tenten swung her staff once more, knocking him down. He rolls away as the staff hits where he just was. A second attack had to be blocked while he was on his back. The swordsman quickly spun his legs around, hitting the girl's legs and forcing her on one knee. As he got up, he swings upwards at her face. The girl only gets a small cut at her cheek. They both got up onto their feet at the same time and looked into each other's eyes. Hitsugaya strikes first, swinging for her head. The staff keeps it away from her as another section tries to counter. The swordsman ducks and brings his sword back. With a thrust, he aims for her heart but she sidesteps easily. The swordsman back flips away to evade the counter thrust. Tenten jumps in to close the gap with another thrust. Her enemy sidesteps and thrusts with his own weapon, having the rear end of the staff change its course just above her shoulder. Hitsugaya spins around as she brings back her weapon and blocks the attack. The swordsman spins around again to attack from above. Tenten stretches her staff in above of her and the blade is caught between two sections, hitting the chain connecting them. Using this to her advantage, she jumps up and twirls around a lot, exchanging the staff sections between her hands while keeping eye contact with Hitsugaya. She landed facing him, his sword wrapped around in the staff's chain, and she held the two sections tightly. Hitsugaya tugged on his weapon, but it was stuck in the chain. He brings out his own chain and throws it around her arms. The chain he threw creates a thin layer of ice around where it wrapped around, causing fear and surprise to emerge on the girl's face. Hitsugaya pulled on the chain, bringing her in. With the chain hand, he punches her right in the face. She falls back and off the branch, pulling him down with her. Tenten landed on her back on a lower branch, with Hitsugaya on his hands and knees above, causing an awkward moment. She quickly kicks him off of her, only to be dragged herself by the weapons. Now Tenten landed on one knee, above Hitsugaya who was on his back. The swordsman pulls in both his feet and kicks her away. She lands a short distance off as he gets on his own feet. Looking at each other's eyes, they smiled, respecting each other's skill with a weapon. Tenten. Neji calls from the forest. He sees that the ice around her arms is made of chakra. Using Juken, he breaks it up from the inside and pulls out the chain. As she held the weapons, Neji charged in with his palm. The swordsman jumped and twisted in the air to avoid the attack and to keep his hand on the sword. The twist was what it needed to slip out from the girl's grasp. Now separated, he jumps back, almost being hit by a small whirlwind had he not noticed. Taking a quick glance around, his dragon was nowhere to be found. Neji and Tenten attacked together. Using his sword against the girl and his own body against the Hyuga, Hitsugaya barely managed to escape their combo. They stood back to back, ready for another team attack. Neji went first. The swordsman sidesteps and brings his blade up to block the girl's staff. He leaps over Tenten guarding and countering any aerial assaults. Landing, Tenten goes low and swings, forcing him to jump. Neji was also in the air flying above Tenten towards him. The Hyuga brought his palm forward and the swordsman was barely able to move out of the way. However, Hitsugaya was able to use his knee and hit Neji in the gut with it, bring him down. Neji was on his knee as Tenten now jumps over and furiously attacks the swordsman. He guards all of her moves and makes space between them, forcing her to thrust wildly to make up for the distance. Jumping back, he tries to breathe but a whirlwind attack from below makes him jump some more. Now Shino. Neji yelled out. Realizing they set up a trap, he called out his dragon once again, Hiranmara. Firefly trap technique. The swordsman was barely able to create the dragon as fire came at him from all directions. The dragon wrapped itself around its master, protecting it from the intense heat. This can't be happening. These guys are mere genin. I am a missing nin from the land of lost heaven. Is this the strength of their determination to save her? I have no choice. The group watches from afar as their plan is set in motion. Their opponent is trapped in a great fireball, or so they thought. Bankai. A great gust of cold wind blows from the fireball, freezing whatever was nearby. The fire itself was frozen solid and a thick mist covers where the boy swordsman is supposed to be. Kurenai was watching the battle from below. Bankai, the land of lost heaven's secret technique. Please be careful everyone. Naruto kicks Byakuya away, forcing him to skid on his feet as he tries to stop moving. Naruto chases after him as his opponent stops. The kidnapper points one finger at Naruto. Way of Destruction number 4, White Lightning. A bolt of lightning flies out of Byakuya's finger, surprising Naruto, getting hit in the shoulder. The attack goes through the blonde boy and he balances himself out. Not only did the boy withstand the attack, but the wound it caused healed itself in a matter of seconds, causing a surprised look on Byakuya's face. What, is that all you got? Naruto taunted. I see, the leader said in his regular tone of voice. You are no ordinary genin. You should be honored that I will show you my real power. He holds his sword upside down in front of him, confusing the blonde. The man releases it and the sword falls, with Ento it. Bankai. What shocked Naruto was that the sword sank into the ground, sending ripples out like the ground was made of water. What happened next he couldn't believe. 1,000 large blades began to appear from the ground behind the black-haired man. They were in 2 rows on either side of him. Each one is much bigger than Byakuya himself. Hitsugaya emerges from the mist, from his shoulders wings of ice sprouted out. His hands were also covered in the same element, the sword hand being frozen with the sword. Behind him a tail had been formed, made of ice as well. 3 strange flowers of ice appeared floating above his head, each with 4 petals. Daiguren, Hiranmara. What is that? Kiba never hid his fear from the others as they too were afraid of the kid swordsman. Hitsugaya flew upwards, anything he touched froze instantly. He hovered high in the sky, above the 4 genin. Neji knew what he was going to do. Everyone, don't let him touch you. You'll freeze. Too late, the icy swordsman dived down. From his sword arm came a blue dragon aura that shot out at them. This is my true power. Byakuya told Naruto. Scatter. Senbon Sakura Kageyoshi. Every one of his blades scattered, creating millions of sakura petals that followed the wind towards frozen Naruto. The 4 genins spread out as fast as they can to get out of the way of the blue dragon. Hitsugaya's dragon flew down ahead of him towards his opponents. As the targets split, its eyes focused on one of them to hit for sure. Tenten, look out, Kiba cried out. Realizing the danger, she jumps to another branch, but the ice that covered it made it fragile, breaking under her feet. Tenten, Neji dived in to catch her just as the dragon flew by. Both of them crashed hard on a big branch below. Neji, are you all right? Tenten was worried. Your legs. I'm all right, he interrupted, but they both can clearly see his legs frozen together. I won't be much help anyway. I have to fight close while you guys can strike from afar. Don't say that. Listen, Neji told her. Defeat him and help Naruto save Hinata-sama. I know you can do it. Neji, please, do it. Tenten struggled for words but she gave in. All right Neji, we'll save her. She jumps back up to join Kiba and Shino, leaving Neji alone on that branch. Everyone's fighting for you, Hinata-sama. Frozen in fear, Naruto could do nothing but stand still, letting all of the blades flow through him. Naruto was all torn up as the attack took effect, blood flowing out of his wounds and onto the ground where he stood. He fell down, unmoving, with no strength at all. I will complete my mission. I told you that you cannot change that. You can. Naruto called out to Hinata. Hinata, it was a mistake to challenge me. That's not true. Hinata told him. Even if you did make a mistake, you were always, from my point of view, a proud man who makes lots of mistakes. You're not perfect. You make mistakes, and you get stronger from them. I believe that is true strength. Naruto-kun, you're a strong person. Even if it is, this is one mistake I gladly made, if it means saving Hinata. I admit, you were more than what I had expected. This is your last warning, Neji said in a threatening tone of voice. Give up. Hinata struggles to stand up, her body weakened by Neji's attacks. I'm not going to take back my words, that's my way of the ninja. Hinata breathed deeply as she stands, facing Neji. Her eyes shifted to Naruto, who was looking right back at her. I didn't know Hinata was so tough. She's very similar to you, Lee commented. Come to think of it, she's always been watching you. Naruto was a little surprised at Sakura's words. Hinata, I never noticed, but you were always cheering me on, weren't you? But it wasn't until I rooted for you that you found your true courage. It was over before the battle even began. You should have just stopped when you had the chance. Don't stop the match. Hey, Naruto, what are you talking about, stupid? She can't fight anymore. She fainted. Ted saw. Kura soon ate her words as Hinata was slowly but surely getting up. I can still. There's no point in acting tough. You're barely able to stand up. There is no need to suffer. Let yourself go. What Neji said then was true. And yet, you continued to fight, and I still believed in you. To push me this far, is she really that much to you? Guardian of 8 divination seals. 64 strikes. No way. Hinata is doing such a cool just you. The Hinata you once knew is no more. What do you mean? After the Chunin exam, even you learned new jutsu, right? Well, Hinata has also been steadily improving. She was always worried about her abilities. Hinata had always worried about what she was meant to do and what she could do. During her harsh training, Hinata found her own style, her own technique. This is the result of that training. This technique belongs only to Hinata, guardian of 8 divination seals, 64 strikes. Most likely she's done this to be acknowledged by her father, by everyone, and by you. Quote, I did notice, you did become stronger. A lot stronger than I thought possible, and you have a new jutsu to prove it. Hinata. I can't, I won't, lose her. Hey, you stupid fox. Give me some more chakra. Are you really that desperate to save that girl? Foolish boy, who do you think you're talking to? Give me some more chakra now. Ha ha ha, who do you think you're talking to? I am the 9-tailed demon fox, the Kyuubi. Like I care about that right now. If you don't give me more power, I'll just take it from you. Hey, you amuse me boy. I'll give you some power. Just don't lose this time. I won't, I made a promise. I won't let Sakura, Hanabi, Neji or Hinata down. B.A. bump B.A. bump. B.A. bump. What? Byakuya's eyes grew wide. The kid who was hit by his bankai's full force was getting up. He could clearly see all the cuts he had endured heal like they were never there. The red aura around him before became thicker, and changed shape. What say? M's to be 1 tail and 2 pointed ears were created from the strange aura. Naruto holds out his fist, the exact same way as when he made a promise on Hinata's blood. I will win, Naruto suddenly spoke to the surprised man. Round 2. Let's go. Naruto quickly dropped on all fours and moved at a shocking speed. The kidnapper would have been hit had he not seen Naruto before the strike, creating a barrier of Sakura between the two of them. Naruto's hand swiped through the pink petals, which could not pierce through the strange shield. Byakuya Flash stepped away to avoid an attack through the opening. Naruto chased after him. Many of his pink petals flew at the fox boy, who was using great speed to dodge them entirely. But the Sakura were keeping Naruto away, or so Byakuya thought. Naruto's Ra created a strange hand and it flies towards Byakuya, using his Sakura to guard against the attack. Dropping his shield, Byakuya sees Naruto right in his face. Before Naruto could attack, the kidnapper sent a whole bunch of petals skywards from under him, hitting the boy and sending him into the air. Again, the petals could not get through, but there were some cuts along the skin that healed instantly. Naruto jumped off the tower of Sakura. He lands and runs around once more to avoid the petals. How did he get this power, this speed? I said I will beat you up, Naruto taunted. Still don't believe me? Don't get too cocky, brat. Byakuya swings his hand. Naruto dodges the cloud of flying petals sent at him. Naruto runs some more, dodging all of the Sakura Byakuya sends at him. He notices that they're getting harder to avoid. How? Their speed has increased. If I control it with my hands, I can double my speed. Naruto warps around with his immense speed. Byakuya sends stream after stream of petals after the boy, eventually forcing him to move into the air. As Naruto dodges each stream, they split up into many smaller streams. Naruto keeps moving in the air, to dodge and avoid the millions IM. Eventually, everywhere around him there is a stream of Sakura blocking his escape. There is nothing that I can't, Byakuya began as Naruto was completely surrounded by Sakura. Catch. All of the pink blades close in from all sides at Naruto. There was no way for him to get out alive, even with the red aura of chakra. RRAAH. The immense roar from the boy fox blew away the oncoming attack. All of the petals floated around as they are slowly taken down to the earth. Byakuya watched in surprise, not knowing what to make of it. There was no way he could have just defeated all of those petals. Naruto moves instantly behind the kidnapper. Byakuya turns around. A swipe of Naruto's claw creates blood marks across his chest. Stumbling back from the attack, Naruto swipes again, making another 3 lines of blood. Byakuya Flash steps away from the fox. Naruto launches his chakra arm, nailing the older man in the chest. The swordsman lands on one knee, slowly getting up. Where did you get his power? No matter. You will not last long anyway. A large pink aura surrounded Byakuya. The area turns dark blue once more. Naruto stood, fixated at what is happening. Swords appeared. Out of nowhere. They circled both of them as they appeared. 1,000 swords showed themselves out of nowhere. They move in a circle around the two fighters. This abandons defense and gives its all to killing the enemy, the true form of Senbon Sakura, Senki, Senbon Sakura Kageyoshi. Two blades dropped from where they were and Byakuya caught both of them. The other swords floated still, poised to attack Naruto. Author. How was that? Senki, Senbon Sakura Kageyoshi. Scene of the massacre, vibrant display of 1,000 cherry blossoms. While Byakuya has yet to do it in Bleach, I'm certain he can control those swords the very same way he can control the sakura petals. Not only that, he SITLL has one more level after this attack, which I won't use unfortunately, here it is anyway. Shuke, Hakureikan Final View, White Imperial Sword. It looks like one sword with giant white wings sprouting out from both sides. Byakuya gathers all of his swords and petals into a single sword, multiplying its attack K power and damage potential drastically. That's it. Little side notes, my Negima FIC, though not yet done, has some pretty good action in it as well. One guy even uses 10 different weapons, from a big broadswords to a kendama. Also, I turned on the Anon reviews to get more feedback on my stories. Neji had tried to break the ice around his feet, but it is made of a chakra that's even stronger. What he broke off from Tenten's hands. He is watching the intense fight between his friends and the Lost Heaven Ninja. 2 of the 3 icy flowers had already fallen from above the kid's head. Neji can only hope that it is a good sign, as the darkening sky is definitely not. Hitsugaya was able to keep the Konoha ninjas from coming too near to him, but he also had difficulty getting close to them. Even with the Junin and the Hyuga out of the fight, the 3 remaining genin proved to be more than he thought they were. Especially now with what was in front of him. Hitsugaya floated, staring at the giant 2-headed dog before him. The boy with the dog had just merged together to form this being. The heads growled in his face. Hitsugaya was feeling uncertainty within himself. He had not seen anything like this before. Garuga. One of the heads roared out loud. The giant dog begins spin at rapid speed towards Hitsugaya. The swordsman flies away as fast as he could, but the whirling dog was quickly gaining speed. Just before the attack could even come near to him, he flies off in a different direction at a very high speed. However, his clothes were torn up and some cut marks appeared at his skin from the shearing wind. Even if I dodge the attack, it creates a cutting wind. I can't even afford a close call or else I'll be torn to shreds. The attack finishes tearing up more the forest and the creature stands on the tree branches. It turns around to look at the flying swordsman. The heads growl some more as Hitsugaya hovers in the air. The swordsman summons forth his Dr. Agon aura around his sword arm and points at the 2-headed dog. Go! Hitsugaya thrusts hard, launching his dragon aura at Kiba and Akamaru. Garuga. Hitsugaya flies back to create some distance as his dragon and Kiba charge towards each other. The ice dragon is torn up before it even comes close to the dog. The whirling shredder continues through the air, aiming for the retreating white-haired kid. The freezing forest behind Hitsugaya is being easily torn apart by the 2-headed creature. Shearing up the ice made of chakra like it was nothing. The swordsman dives sharply, just barely escaping the dangerous wind as more of his clothing is lightly torn up. As he fell, he launches another dragon at the spinning terror, only to see it be torn up easily. But that was all Kiba and Akamaru could do, their chakra was drained. The boy and the dog reappeared as soon as the twin-headed dog vanished. Hitsugaya flew back up as soon as the creature disappeared. Kiba held Akamaru close to him, eventually sensing a cold air flow through him. Turning, Hitsugaya emerged from below, several cuts on his clothing and some on his skin. He didn't look too happy. Kiba looked in fear. With his chakra drained, there was nothing more he could do. The swordsman raised his sword and flapped his wings. Several fireballs passed in front of him, stopping him in his tracks. Turning to their source, another great big fireball was flying right at him. He easily dodged it by flying around, but Shino sending his bugs all around where he stood, shooting balls of flame at rapid speed. The boy's swordsman flies around quickly dodging all the fireballs until he decides to charge in straight on. Hitsugaya's surprising agility makes him a hard target to hit. Shino is surprised at the rapid speed of movement the swordsman could pull off. The sword hit Shino right at the heart. The bug user and anything behind him froze as a cold gust of wind blew through. The frozen Shino turned black and bugs took his place. Hitsugaya stared wide-eyed as there were several explosive tags where the bugs were. The tags inside the ice exploded in his face, creating a cloud of mist and smoke. Naruto quickly jumped out of the way as many of the leader's floating swords came down on him. He races on all fours to get to the kidnapper, only to suddenly change directions when several swords blocked his path. The man flashed stepped in front of Naruto's path. Swords at the ready as more of his blades went straight for him. Naruto jumped around those oncoming projectiles and continued towards his target. Byakuya Flash Street epped towards Naruto and brought his swords down on him. Naruto turned around fast, causing the swordsman to hit one of his own swords, which was held by the tail of chakra. What is that chakra? Yuto brought his face low to the ground and catapulted himself into the swordsman's face. His opponent Flash stepped back and sent many more blades. The tail threw the weapon it had towards the projectiles. A couple swords crashed into it and vanished as pink petals. Naruto had to quickly dodge the rest to keep from being impaled. But Byakuya was soon sending swords from above, forcing the fox boy to bounce off of the blades themselves to keep moving. The tail catches another sword as he was escaping above the storm of swords. The red aura extended itself to surround the sword as well. Byakuya tries to control the capture to remove it from the tail's grip. Much to his great surprise, he couldn't. The aura must somehow be preventing his control from reaching the sword. Sending more of his weapons to the boy, he surrounds him on all sides. The blades come in at an alarming rate. Thanks to the Kyuubi's added senses and agility, Naruto was able to keep moving, even catching two swords with his hands and later covering them with his aura. The fox boy roared at the hundreds of swords below him, destroying them all as more flew in around him. Using the swords again swings them wildly, actively cutting up many of the projectiles while dodging them at the same time. Byakuya assumes that the boy's own power is being added to that of the swords, which is why the swords he holds is stronger the ones coming at him. Naruto continues to pit sword against sword, even throwing the ones he has and grabbing some new ones over and over again. Byakuya tightens the grip on the blades he himself holds, adding more power to them. Naruto destroys more swords as they come, finally landing on the ground. Byakuya Flash steps in front of Naruto, surprising the boy. They clashed swords, racing around each other and the flying swords. The swords they held sparked whenever they connected. Flying around, the two combatants danced all over, avoiding the wild blades, Naruto destroying them as Byakuya controls them. They jump into the air. Byakuya copies Naruto's idea by bouncing off the swords as they trade blows with each other. Naruto just swings wildly. Normally Byakuya would have no problem whatsoever with this kind of opponent. But the speed, strength and the third sword proved to be a match for him. They climbed higher and higher, jumping off the swords to continue their ascent. The blades clashed again. Naruto and Byakuya were staring into each other's eyes face to face. "You'll never be able to save her," the leader told the boy in his usual emotionless tone. They traded blows a few more times before the kidnapper speaks again. "I will see to it." Byakuya knocks Naruto away. The fox boy bounces off of some blades and stands on the cliff wall. The swordsman was also standing on the wall, staring straight down at his opponent, who was showing off an angry look. "If that is your power, then I will crush all of it." Lightning crashes as a huge portion of the cliff above Byakuya crumbled. Naruto hugs the wall a little closer with his hands and knees. The leader turns around to cut up a piece of rock coming towards him and disappears in the dust. Hitsugaya flies out of the smoke and mist, coughing. He uses his wings to blow away whatever was left, but he couldn't believe he fell for that. Twin rising dragons. Hearing the girl's voice, he turns to find it the direct Chion he turned to had a great deal of aerial weapons flying straight for him. The swordsman uses his wings as a shield and deflects and dodges what he could, barely making it out with getting hit. The projectiles were scattered all throughout the branches around him and on his wings. "It's not over," the kunoichi shouted. Hitsugaya just notices the strings on her fingers, a whole lot of them. The Weapons she threw earlier were pulled out from where they were and flew in from all directions towards the flying boy. Unable to defend himself on all sides, the girl launches an all-around assault. Several of the projectiles pierced through the boy's skin, as he did his best to get out of their way. Tenten smiles. There's no way he could have survived that. The boy she hit started to become as blue as the ice around him. He cracked, then shattered into cold crystal pieces. An ice clone. Tenten looks around. Behind you, Shino pointed out. The girl turns around, seeing the boy floating in the air at a great distance. Hitsugaya looks up at his flowers. Only 2 petals remain. I don't have much time left. And Soi Fong hasn't come. There's no way it takes this long for her to finish her fights. That must mean that she's dead. I better get out of here and meet up with Byakuya. He charges his sword hand with his chakra, creating another blue dragon aura, only bigger than the ones before. Tenten, Shino and Kiba look in fear. The boy levitates higher and charges straight forward. All 3 of the Konoha genin dive out of the way as fast as they can. The dragon and the boy just fly by them, freezing everything in its path. The 3 ninja watch closely as the ice dragon and the white-haired kid disappear into the distance. It was Kiba who figured out what is happening. He's going to go back to his leader. Naruto can't fight both of them at the same time, Shino said. We have to go after him, Tenten told them. Shino, can you melt the ice around Neji's legs? We need everyone we can get. Understood. Kiba and Shino jump off to where Neji is sitting as Tenten looks in the direction the dragon boy went. Naruto, please hurry and save Hinata. We'll be there to help you soon. The fox boy charged up the cliff, swords in hand and tail. The closest rock was cut up as he moved to another rock. The leader's swords were still flying, through and around the debris. Naruto jumped from rock to rock, blade to blade, cutting up both the stones and swords. Byakuya cut through a boulder to clash with the boy. They swung their weapons towards each other, with extreme speed and power. The flashes of connection between their swords grew brighter with each attack. They bounced off from rocks and swords as they attacked, climbing as the debris falls. The swords clashed again, locked in a stalemate. Both fighters look into each other's eyes. Byakuya's swords fly in, shattering the ones Naruto was holding. The fox spins, the leader brings his swords down, destroying the tail sword. Naruto leaps in close, grabbing the man's white vest. The boy headbutts the leader hard enough to send him flying upwards. Hundreds of swords appeared and flew towards Naruto. He roars out loud, shattering the blades, including the ones Byakuya himself held, and cracking several big rocks. Naruto quickly jumps up to the kidnapper. The fox boy gave a hard punch to the face, followed by another punch. Then a kick to the chest, sending the older man higher. Finally, the boy's tail is launched at the target, hitting square at the heart, pushing him up through many rocks and into the sky. Author. Eep. The battle between Naruto and Byakuya continues on. But what will happen when Hitsugaya comes in? Will Neji, Tenten, Shino and Kiba be able to arrive on time to save both Naruto and Hinata? A word on Hitsugaya's bankai. I don't really know what the ice flowers do. But I remember one of the bad guys saying it was a timer for how long his bankai can last. Of course, how much see. And some bad guy know about Hitsugaya's abilities when he only sees it once. Hitsugaya's bankai had shattered. He leaves the falling ice crystals behind as he continues on foot. His chakra is low, swordsman wouldn't be able to do much else now. He could sense that something wasn't right. Byakuya's chakra was at its peak. But this other chakra he's sensing, is it the boy? That's impossible. Could a boy like that have so much chakra? Then again, he shouldn't be one to talk. He found the clearing before the cliff. All he could see was Hinata laying there and no one else. Byakuya flew up from the cliff, being pushed upwards by a thick red chakra. Byakuya. Hitsugaya couldn't believe what he was seeing. Byakuya's sword sliced up the strange chakra holding the leader, causing it to let go and retract. But the chakra grabbed hold of the cliff edge. Naruto was catapulted upwards, above the cliff. Who is that kid? To force Byakuya to use Senki Senbon Sakura Kageyoshi. There's no way anyone could make him use that. Not even high-level Junins. Is he even human? Is he a demon? Byakuya launched some more swords at Naruto. He doesn't have that many left. Naruto's tail was able to grab one of them. A couple pierced the boy, yet the chakra aura dissolved them and healed the wounds rapidly. The fox boy held out his arm. A huge amount of chakra began to concentrate there, whirling around in a ball. What is that? What's he doing? Hitsugaya's eyes shivered as he could feel the immense chakra gather at the fox boy's hand. He's going to use a very powerful attack, that's all he knows. Both of them were still high in the sky, but he knew the battle is about to end as thunder rolls through the air. You are at your limit, Byakuya told the fox. This one attack will settle this. Byakuya gathered his remaining swords in front of him, creating a flat shield of 100 blades. Hinata, I'm not my words, that's my way of the ninja. Hinata, do your best. When you cheered me on, I felt like I had become stronger than before. I didn't know Hinata was so tough. She's very similar to you. After the preliminaries, I was able to like myself a little more. I think I was able to change. Don't stop the match. Hey, Naruto, what are you talking about, stupid? She can't fight anymore. She fainted. I can still. Guardian of 8 divination seals. 64 strikes. No way. Hinata is doing such a cool just you. The Hinata you once knew is no more. I may look strong from your point of view, but I always screw up, and I just act strong because I'm mad. That's not true. Even if you did make a mistake, you were always, from my point of view, a proud man who makes lots of mistakes. When I looked at you, there was this impact on my heart. Come to think of it, she's always been watching you. You're not perfect. You make mistakes, and you get stronger from them. I believe that is true strength. Naruto-kun, you are a strong person. Thank you, Hinata. Rasengan. Lightning crashed as Naruto's chakra ball collided with Byakuya's shield of blades. A large explosion blew the surrounding air away at intense speed. Hitsugaya covered his face with his arms to block the wind and the bright light from the explosion. Neji, Tenten, Shino and Kiba heard the loud noise. They hid behind some trees to stay out of the huge gust of wind. What's happening? Neji asked. I don't know, Shino answered. I think it's Naruto. Kiba called out. Naruto. Tenten was worried. Naruto was by himself against the leader of the 3 when Guy and Lee battled one and the 4 of them battled another. Who knows how strong the leader was? The wind continued to blow as a huge cloud of smoke appeared in the sky. As the wind dies, Hitsugaya looked up. There was no sign of either fighter in that cloud. Byakuya fell from the huge puff of smoke. Whatever swords he had left he let fly wildly inside. Hitsugaya didn't ease up because of it though. The smoke was just starting to clear. A long red hand flew towards Byakuya. With little time to react, the sword was thrust through the heart. The cloud disappeared and Naruto could clearly see that he hit his mark. Not a moment too soon as the fox's chakra began to vanish, meaning Naruto was at his limit. Hitsugaya stood wide-eyed as his leader fell, with the sword right through his body, landing on the ground. Naruto also fell onto the ground face down, but still alive, still conscious. He could still see what's around him, just wasn't able to move too much. The sword that had pierced Byakuya vanishes. In a bright display of pink light, Hitsugaya stared at the body of his former captain. It was an impossible sight, a mere boy defeating a missing nin from Lost Heaven. Keeping strong, he walks over to the fallen boy, slowly drawing his sword from the scabbard behind him. A few drops of rain hit the two of them. Naruto hears the footsteps of the white-haired kid, turning his body around to see the sky. Hitsugaya's sword flashed before his eyes as the rain began to pour. No, what are you? Hey, Naruto gives his confident smile. I'm Naruto Uzumaki, the next Hokage. How did you defeat Byakuya? Quote, wouldn't you like to know? Naruto questioned. Once I get up, you're next. Is this really the power of friendship? No, we've fought many battles before where that was a factor. All it did was delay the inevitable. Our opponents had surprised us time and again with their talk of friendship, but, these genin, with the sword still above Naruto, Hitsugaya turns to look at Hinata. They weren't like those enemies. Everyone we fought in the past were either Junin, or skilled Chunin, in small groups. And we took care of them all without breaking a sweat. Yet, he takes a look back at Naruto, who was still staring back at him in a cold glare. Those 4 genin from before, their level of power is beyond that of a regular chunin. I am certain had it was because they were close friends with that girl. This boy is another story. Whatever power he called from, it was just enough to kill Byakuya. It can't be any kind of friendship of any kind. It had to be something else, but what could it be? Hitsugaya pulls his sword away from Naruto and walked towards the sleeping girl. Lightning crashes down once more as Naruto rolled over to his belly to see what the swordsman was doing. Hey, where are you going? He yelled. Get back here. You will continue to pursue me as long as the girl is alive, right? Hitsugaya questioned him. What will you do once I kill her? Realizing this, Naruto tries to move as hard as he could in his weakened state. His muscles ache all over, but he couldn't feel it. All he cared about was getting to Hinata before that swordsman does. She is the reason you're still alive, the swordsman started. She's the reason you were able to defeat Byakuya. The only reason. Why? Because I won't let you hurt any of my friends. That's why. I've seen friendship in battle, Hitsugaya told him. It barely makes a difference. To do what you did, it had to be more than friendship. It had to be something strong than that, much stronger. When I saw your last moments against Byakuya, all I could see was a demon. You were more than a human to care this much for a mere friend. To turn into something else in order to save her. What is she to you? Like I care what you think. Naruto cries out, still struggling to move. Get back here so I can beat you. Hitsugaya stood over the sleeping girl, the rain pounding down everywhere, so now. You can't do anything else. I may have lost Byakuya and Soi Fong, I may have lost my own battle, but I can still be victorious in the war. I can still complete my mission, and even if I can't, at least you won't be able to complete yours. Hitsugaya slowly brings his sword above his head, ready to stab it through the girl. Naruto's heart beats faster and faster. Move, move, move. I won't lose you, Hinata. I'll never let that happen. Even if I have to die saving her, I'll gladly do it. If I am dead anyway, I'll be your guardian angel. Hinata. Lightning sparks through the sky, thunder roars through the air. Hitsugaya brings his sword down, piercing the body, drawing blood. Author. Hinata's dead. Ahem. Will all of their efforts be for nothing as Hitsugaya's sword is brought down on Hinata? Next chapter. Paradise Lost. Neji, Tenten, Shino and Kiba arrive on the scene to find the dead leader and Naruto. However, Neji cries out as Hinata is gone forever. Please Eve you so that I have the will to continue this story. I want to make sure more than the usual reviewers are actually liking this story, or at least reading it. Also the names. For Naruto I'm going first, last. For Bleach it's last, first. Just cause I prefer it that way for each anime. Chapter 10 Paradise Lost. Lightning sparks through the sky, thunder roars through the air. Hitsugaya brings his sword down, piercing the body. Drawing blood. Naruto is on both knees and one hand. Hitsugaya looks on at the scene. Somehow Naruto was able to move himself over Hinata, the sword went through his back. On one side and a hand is holding the blade tight just before it even touched her. The rain just keeps coming down, it has hard to tell whether it was the rain or if Naruto was really crying. The blow. ND boy coughed out blood beside Hinata's body, his blood on the sword dripping onto her jacket. Hitsugaya pulled out his sword, Naruto winced as he regained balance. The swordsman swung it hard to get rid of the blood on the blade. He had no strength to move. He moved here through sheer will. Naruto struggles to stay up. He looks at Hinata, smiling as either rain or tears roll down his face. With one hand, he strokes her face gently. Hinata. With the last of his energy gone, he fainted. All the while Hitsugaya looks at them, lightning crashing in the distance. Neji, Tenten, Shino and Kiba race through the forest as fast as they can. Tenten notices Neji's cheeks, she has never seen him like this before. She begins to shed tears of her own, hoping that Hinata and Naruto will be okay. The forest ends. A clearing makes itself known. They can all see the cliff that ends the clearing before them. Look, Shino pointed. They all turned to see the body of the kidnapper, the one had led the woman and the white-haired kid. There he lay, at the center of a pool made of a familiar red liquid. Where's Hinata? Kiba asked. Over there. Neji ran off closer to the cliff, the rest followed. They got closer to see Hinata's jacket, overjoyed that she's alright. They all ran closer to the glorious view. However, they froze. Underneath the jacket was a very bloody Naruto, very still, unmoving. Hinata's jacket was merely placed on top of him. Hinata herself was nowhere to be found. Hinata-sama, it can't be. Neji dropped on both knees, even more water flowed down his face. Hinata-sama, he dropped on his hands. Rain and tears hitting the ground below him. Neji, Tenten looks at her partner, worried about him and Hinata. We can still. Neji picked himself up, he ran towards the cliff edge. Neji stop, Tenten yelled out. In an instant a fist gutted Neji, knocking him out. Kakashi grabbed him as he fell. I'm sorry, there's no way we can find him like this. Kakashi, Shino was the first to speak. What do we do now? This mission, Kakashi began. As much as it pains me to say it, has failed. Asuma and his team are bringing Guy, Lee and Kurenai back to Konoha as we speak. Someone take Neji, I'll carry Naruto. Kiba and Shino go forward to take Neji. They and Tenten leave Kakashi as he picks up his student, Kuchiki Byakuya, missing Nin from the land of lost heaven. From what I heard of his powers, I don't think even I would have stood a chance. Yet Naruto, whenever his friends are in danger, he already makes the impossible possible. This is something else entirely. To defeat someone like Byakuya, you wanted to save Hinata even more so than when you chased Sasuke. Naruto. Kakashi puts Hinata's jacket on Naruto to protect him from the rain as the bow. Y's own clothes were almost non-existent. He carried his student away and heads back to Konoha. Night time was quiet. The rain had stopped long before, with the sky clearing at nightfall. The stars and moon shone down on the forest, creating glitters all around with the drops of water scattered throughout. It was a sight to behold indeed, the glowing stars, the shining forest. Hitsugaya sat awake, staring at his mission objective. He had placed his white vest on top of her to keep her warm. Being an ice user, he's comfortable with the cold. She stirred. The sleeping spell had run its course. He got up and rubbed her eyes with a yawn. The girl shivered a little, realizing she didn't have her coat and that it had rained, so she put the boy's jacket around her. Looking around, Hinata finds it was just her and the boy she spoke with earlier. There wasn't even a fire, even her coat disappeared. But what she could see, is that the boy had sad eyes. She dared not speak to him at this moment. It was he that spoke first. You want to know what happened, right? Without making a sound, she nodded. The rescue team came after us. They killed my captain and my teammate, that leaves only me. I'm sorry. It's my fault, isn't it? If anyone should be sorry, it's me, he told her. The rescue was made up of your friends and a relative. They fought hard, harder than I thought possible to save you. I decided to leave your coat behind, so that they will at least have a little of you left, even when you die. Hinata began to worry some more. Her friends did come after her then. But they failed. They're still alive, he reassured her. However, he draws his sword and points it to her. Don't think you'll escape me. I'll deliver you myself, with or without your cooperation. The hostage stays silent. The swordsman puts his sword away. I had to retreat because I was the only one left, and I ran out of chakra. I told you what had happened, but there is one thing you should really know. Hinata was relieved to hear about her friends. Now she listens to Hitsugaya's words, curious about what he's going to say to her. I was certain all of us were Junin level. That changed when we battled them. My captain, Byakuya, is the strongest of the three of us. He was killed by only one of your friends, a genin killing a missing nin. That boy was fighting to get you back. That was the only thing on his mind. He even gave me his name before losing all of his power, Uzumaki Naruto. Hinata's head started to feel very warm, turning red. Her heart beats faster. Hitsugaya looks away to stare the forest's dancing lights. He stopped at nothing to save you, even risking his own life. That Naruto really cared for you, Hinata. He heard a light rustle. Turning back to her, she seemed to have mysteriously fallen. Apparently, you have some feelings for him too. Hitsugaya stares back towards his surrounds. The glittering lights were the last he saw before going to sleep. Soon the girl will die, or perhaps she's already dead. Naruto runs as fast as he could. He found Hinata encased in a cube of ice. As he calls out to her, a giant dragon of ice drops from the sky and swallows her whole. Hinata. Naruto suddenly got up, surprising Sakura. He looks around. He was in a hospital all bandaged up. Outside it was all cloudy. Sakura. How's Hinata? Sakura turned away quietly. Naruto, still in pain, opens the window and is about to jump out. No, Naruto, don't. Sakura cried. She grabbed him from behind and held him back. Let go of me, Sakura. I have to go get Hinata back. Naruto struggled to break free through his pain. Naruto, listen to me. Sakura's voice started to shiver a little. It's been 3 days. Naruto suddenly stopped moving and sat back down on the bed. Sakura pulls him closer as water forms in her eyes. Tsunade had half of Anbu looking for her. All they found was one of their groups frozen in ice. Kakashi said that the boy would have made it back to Lost Heaven by now. She couldn't hold in her emotion any longer. She let it all out on his back, her tears in her voice. They're declaring her dead. Naruto's eyes widened as Sakura returned to her seat. Her eyes overflowing. He turned to her slowly. That can't be. There's no way Hinata is dead, it's just not possible. He bowed his head. Sakura could see drops of water flowing down his face and dripping to the blanket. The Hyugas are going to hold a funeral for Hinata tomorrow, she told him in the strongest voice she can. Normally only clan members are allowed. They're making an exception for her. You don't have to come, Naruto. She's not dead. Naruto's tears continued to fall. He tried to hold them back but he couldn't. She's not. Unable to see him like this anymore, Sakura quietly left the room. Hinata. Sakura leans against the door next to Naruto's room. She had clearly heard his cry. More tears began rolling down her face. The rain had stopped but the clouds remained as Kakashi and the rest return. Naruto. Kakashi-sensei. Sakura and Hanabi quickly ran down the street after hearing the news from Asuma. Medic nins should be on their way here. Neji had regained consciousness on the way back but had never talked, bothering Tenten to no end. Ni-san, where's Oni-san? Hanabi's voice was shaking lightly when she couldn't see Hinata anywhere. Neji never said anything. Instead he went over to her and knelt down. I'm sorry, Hanabi-sama. I couldn't. He pulled her close, his tears overflowing. Ni-sama. Hanabi too, hugged Neji. Kakashi-sensei, how's Naruto? Sakura asks in a worried voice. Kakashi bends low and lays Naruto on the ground. Naruto himself looks fine except for one huge wound at his side. His clothes are another story. It was in shreds, torn up and impaled at several areas. But Kakashi had wrapped Hinata's jacket around him, preventing Sakura from seeing the rest of his body. Naruto came out after seeing him like that. Kakashi began to speak. Naruto was really determined to save her. The enemy he fought, a missing nin from the land of Lost Heaven, that was an enemy I don't think I could battle. But Naruto did, and defeated him. It was the remaining nin that took Hinata away. The medic nins have arrived and Kakashi gave them the details. As they take Naruto away, Someth-ing drops from the remains of his clothing. Sakura goes over to pick it up. It was a small canister of healing ointment. There was a crack on one side. She recognizes it as the one Hinata gave Naruto back during the Chunin exam. Naruto, you really did care for her. More than even you knew. She holds herself tightly. Naruto, I'm sorry. She ran down the hall. Her tears flew up into the air. He never noticed Tenten walking towards Naruto's room, holding a single flower in a vase. Sakura. The pink-haired girl continued her run out of the hospital, nearly running into Ino, Shikamaru and Choji. Sakura. What's wrong? Ino turned around and ran after her. Man, we just got here too. Let's wait by the vending machines. Tenten continued her walk to Naruto's room, holding the flower. She was about to knock, but decided against it, remembering Sakura. Her decision was for the better. She could clearly hear Naruto through the door. Tenten sat on her knees and set the vase next to the door. Naruto, I know you can't hear me, but everyone knows you did everything you can. You wanted to save Hinata more than any of us. Nobody blames you for anything, Naruto. All the Junins talking about your victory against that Lost Heaven nin. How only a high-level Junin could have defeated that one. But you did it Naruto, all for Hinata, all for everyone. So don't cry, otherwise, she will too. Tenten's eyes watered up as well. She stays there, sitting down and looking at the door as she hears his cries. I'm sure Neji would have said the same thing. How are they? Sakura asked as Tenten walked out of the Hyuga house. Not that much better than we are, she replied with a sorrowful voice. Think they're going to be okay? I hope so. Tenten didn't sound too reassuring. Hanabi had locked herself in her room for some time and both Neji and Hiyashi are barely talking. I know how they must feel, to lose someone so close to you. I'm more worried about Naruto. Tenten turned to Sakura with heavy eyes. How is he doing? The head doctor Hana said he'll be out in a few weeks, the pink-haired girl told her. But Kakashi-sensei says it'll be sooner than that. That's a relief. Tenten sighed. Of all of us, he's had it the worst. Sometimes I manage to hear some of the Junin talking about the missing nin he fought. I was so afraid, I thought he might die. I heard them too. Sakura slumped against the wall. Naruto fought against someone not even Kakashi-sensei could beat. So, Naruto was that determined to save Hinata. Tenten and Sakura became deep in thought. Hinata must have been a really important person to Naruto for him to be pushed that much. Yeah, the two girls stayed there quietly, before silently went their separate ways. She got up, trying to keep her tears to herself as she walked away. The kunoichi had passed Shikamaru and Shoji and went out the door. Not saying another word as more tears flowed down her face. Sakura continued to run non-stop. Kakashi managed to get sight of her, followed by Ino, and goes to intervene. Jumping in front of his student, his sudden movement surprised her and she stopped. Sakura, what happened? He asks in a concerned voice as Ino catches up. What's wrong with you? The blonde girl asked. Running away like that. Did Naruto wake up? Sakura nods slowly with her head still bowed down. Ino was the first to show concern. Then what's the matter? Why'd you run away? You're his teammate, Sakura, Kakashi added. As am I. Let's go back together and see him. I can't, Kakashi-sensei. What do you mean you can't? Ino was getting annoyed. You need to. Ibeda's waiting for someone to come to his side. It's gotta be you, Sakura. No, you don't know anything about Naruto. Kakashi and Ino were taken aback by this. It's not me, it's not. What are you talking about, Sakura? Ino questioned. The one in his heart, it's not me. It's Hinata, she cried out. Ino was really shocked by this. Kakashi just widened his eye. Sakura burst past Kakashi and down the road again. Ino was about to follow until Kakashi the blonde's shoulder. Let her be, she needs time alone. But, please, Ino, Kakashi asked in a low and slow tone of voice. Ino quietly obeyed, watching her friend run away. Sakura kept running, with more tears flying out into the air behind her. It's true, I'm not the one. No one knew. Not even him. But now that she's gone, I just hope you'll be okay, Naruto. In an open field surrounded by hills, 4 men await. 1 leader, 3 bodyguards. All of them had katanas. Their late Aizen-sama, a tall man, informed. He had short silver hair, always had a freaky smile, and his eyes were constantly closed. His sword was shorter than the rest. Hey, her, APS, they weren't strong enough after all, a big man spoke out. This one had long black spiky hair and an eye patch. The blade he had is chipped, worn down from countless battles. Too bad, that means you won't be able to study that Baku thing. Byakugan, and I suppose you could have done better, the one called Aizen replied, pushing up his square glasses. The big man just grumbled. I had hired them because of their abilities. Their secret bankai. None of you are stronger than them. Whatever. I still say you should have sent us instead, a younger man said. He had short, spiky orange hair. The sword he has is pure black. Oh, look, the white-haired man suddenly spoke. The others followed the direction his eyes were looking. Sure enough, a white-haired boy came over the hills followed by blue-haired girl. A strange sight to behold is that the boy's jacket is being worn by girl, it was blowing in the wind. Well, this is certainly unexpected, Aizen smiled. I suppose we will have to change our plans a little. I'm starting to like the sound of that, the big man smiled. Author. As everyone mourns the loss of Hinata, Hitsugaya has completed his mission. But what is this plan that Aizen is talking about? Whatever it is, you just know Naruto isn't going to like it. But 3 days have already passed, he'll never be able to make in time to save Hinata. If Naruto can't save her, then who can? Or rather, who would want to? Woot. More Bleach characters. That means more fighting. And Aizen too. For those who watch Bleach, you know who these characters are, especially Aizen. He's considered one of the most powerful characters in that universe. But I had to make them all weaker than the other 3 cause, why hire them if you can do it yourself? Anyway, don't forget to review ya here. Tune in next time. Same Naruto time. Same Naruto channel. Nice to see you've completed the mission, Aizen greeted Hitsugaya. Where are the others? Gone, the kid replied. They won't be here. Too bad. The orange-haired one spoke out. We were hoping to have a party. Here is your payment. Aizen tossed out a bag of coins that Hitsugaya caught. Then my business is done. Hitsugaya turned to leave, seeing a very dead look on Hinata. Not so fast, Hitsugaya, Aizen called to him. The boy turned his head. I'm willing to pay double if you kill her with your bankai. Hinata began to shiver a little, but stayed still as much as she can. Why would ask me to do that? The kid asked. Can't you kill her yourself? Is that why you wanted her alive? Yes, we could, Aizen answered. As for wanting her alive, all I wanted is as fresh a sample of the Byakugan as possible. But I'm really interested in seeing your bankai as well, so you can study it and become more powerful. Is that it, Aizen? Oh my, the tall one smiled. This is not a good turn of events. The big guy scoffed. This KHT in him. Why are you so worried? The one with the glasses spoke. You are a missing nin, are you not? You can always disappear. I am, was the boy's answer. But I don't like the thought of my own powers being used by the likes of you. Then it's a shame. I wanted to see the power of your bankai. Quote. Aizen drew his sword. Hitsugaya turned around and put one hand on his, dropping the bag of money. The leader's sword reflected the sunlight briefly into both he girls and the young swordsman's eyes. Aizen points his weapon at Hitsugaya. Just then, Hinata could see something just doesn't feel right. Why don't I introduce my bodyguards before you get to know each other? Ichimaru Jin, the tall one. Zaraki Kenpachi, the big one. Kurosaki Ichigo, the young one. Attack, Aizen ordered. Hitsugaya rushed forward. The first one he clashed with was the orange-haired one. This one had speed, but not as fast as Soi Fong. The older kid ran off as the big man came in. The young swordsman had to deflect a powerful blow, as this one had power. Getting out of the way, a sword seemed to fly at the white-haired kid. Barely dodging that, he could see that the tall one had somehow extended his blade. Speed, strength and shot. This won't be easy. Kenpachi shows a look of enjoyment as he comes in for an attack. They trade blows with each other, Hitsugaya's smaller size and quicker speed giving him a slight advantage. The kid knocks away the man's sword and jumps up, spin kicking the man right in the face. Jin fires off his sword once more. Hitsugaya jumps away only to have it follow him. Ichigo runs head-on towards him, going for a jump attack. The white-haired boy stopped and backflips, becoming as flat as he can as Ichigo goes above while Jin's sword swings below. Both fighters land on their feet and Hitsugaya turns around to block an attack. Ichigo was overwhelming him with his speed. Luckily, the younger one manages to knock away the orange-hair's sword. Ichigo just grinned. His fist hit Hitsugaya in the gut, with a backflip hitting his opponent. Hitsugaya floated upwards. Ichigo backflipped again, higher and stronger, with the white-haired swordsman in the air, the orange-hair jump kicks straight up. In an amazing show of speed, he grabs his sword and appears above the younger boy. Ichigo finisher. Bankai. Ichigo was blown away by the sudden wind, unable to finish his attack. Hitsugaya showed off his icy wings and tail. Aizen smiled at what he saw. Jin always smiled and Kenpachi smirked. So this is bankai, Aizen remarked. Aye, Jin replied. I hope we can handle it though. What are you talking about? Kenpachi asked in a loud voice. We just go in there and fight. He charges forward to the boy of ice. Hinata was just staring at the sight of Hitsugaya floating there. The ice shone and glittered in the sun. It's beautiful. Kenpachi charged straight forward to the floating boy. Hitsugaya just lets him come. The big man's sword comes crashing down, through the pieces of ice that it had shattered. Wondering what's going on, the real Hitsugaya dived in from above. It was Jin's extended sword that saved Kenpachi. The scarred one and Ichigo go into trade blows with the iced swordsman. One was too fast and the other too strong. The young swordsman stayed defensive as he was pushed back. The white hair managed to wrap both of their swords together with his tail, the froze together. Instantly along with Ichigo's arm stuck frozen with them. Kenpachi had let go of his sword to avoid a slash from Hitsugaya. Ichigo wasn't as lucky, one of the swordsman's wings hit him dead on, freezing his whole front body for Hitsugaya's finishing move. The young boy turned around to be hit with a fist to the face. Kenpachi broke off the ice from his sword and battled Hitsugaya blade for blade, heavily enjoying this intense exchange of swords. However, Kenpachi's sword began to freeze, just from contacting Hitsugaya's so many times. The worn blade shattered into ice crystals, leaving Zaraki open. The icy swordsman thrust right through the heart, freezing the whole person and whatever behind him. Hitsugaya pulled out his blade and was about to fly past the iced man. Jin's sword impaled him through the side. Jin's smile widened. Hitsugaya grabbed the blade and looked angrily at Jin. Ichimaru. Oh dear, Jin spoke sarcastically. I'll probably regret underestimating Hitsugaya Tushiro. Regret as much as you damn well please. Jin tried to pull back his sword, however Hitsugaya's hand had frozen itself onto the sword, bringing the swordsman closer. With his sword ready, Jin dropped his own sword and escaped into the air from a counterattack. Hitsugaya fires off a dragon aura upwards, catching and freezing the surprised Jin. Now the young swordsman points his blade at Aizen. You wanted to see my bankai. Now you'll feel it too. Then Hitsugaya's eyes widened. Something doesn't feel right. He was looking at Aizen, who gave off a smile, but he could sense Aizen right behind him too. What is going on? Before an answer could be found, the swordsman was cut deeply down a shoulder. His ice broke off into small pieces of cold crystal. The boy fell forward and caught himself with his sword, leaning on it for support. The man in front of his eyes disappeared. Turning around, all he sees is Aizen's back. Impossible, he knows flash step. A studier of various arts and techniques, Aizen Sosuke. You fell into my absolute hypnosis, the older man spoke as he walked slowly towards the frightened girl. I now have the Byakuya and knowledge of bankai. I must thank you, Hitsugaya Tushiro. What I have seen will greatly help me achieve a greater power. With all of the techniques I have acquired, I will soon raid Lost Heaven and learn all of their secrets, then all the other villages will share their secrets soon afterwards. But first, in order to study the Byakugan I must have in my hands. Hinata run. Aizen flash steps behind Hinata. She activates her Byakugan and quickly turns around. Her Juken deflects a sword thrust away and a palm hits the older man right in the chest, aimed for the heart. But she could see something is wrong with this Aizen, just like the one before. Aizen smiled at her before disappearing. She sidesteps an attack from behind. Guardian of 8 divination seals, 64 strikes. Aizen was hit hard in several angles, much of his clothing torn up as he stumbles. Hinata quickly turns around, with a full-powered Juken to the man's heart. This time, she sees nothing is wrong. Aizen struggles back, coughing out blood onto the ground. Eventually he fell on one knee. How did you? I could see through it. The power of insight. Don't underestimate the Byakugan. That was the last he heard before his heart collapsed. Hinata had struck with all her strength at his heart, killing him quickly. Hitsugaya just stared, surprised at Hinata for killing Aizen. Hitsugaya-san, she called out. Don't come any closer. Hitsugaya had called out, still leaning on his sword. He picked up Jin's sword and struggled to get over to where Hinata was standing. He points the smaller sword at her face. Your friends have killed mine. You were only alive because of my mission. Now, I have to repay your friends. Hinata just stands there as Hitsugaya pulled back the sword behind his head. Hinata closes her eyes. Hitsugaya shivers a bit at what he's about to do. He stares at her for a moment. She's waiting for the killing attack nervously. Her shaking is easily visible to him. Tears flow out slowly from her eyes and down her cheek. For a brief moment, Hitsugaya saw not Hinata, but someone he cared about long ago. She's the reason you were able to defeat Byakuya. The only reason. Why? Because I won't let you hurt any of my friends. That's why. Whitey-chan. No. Quote, if only I was like him back then, I could have saved her, but I'm not like him. The only thing we have alike is that we both lost someone we care about. Hits. Hyuga's eyes also formed tears as he held the sword tighter. Goodbye, Hinata, the swords Amao wards her. In the shadow they created by the sun, Hitsugaya's weapon had pierced through the girl's head. The swordsman held the sword there, before losing to his wounds and falling down. Dear diary, I'm sorry it's been a while since I last wrote. The past few days have been depressing for everybody, I couldn't bring myself to write it down. Tsunade-sama has made sure not one of us get a mission, at least not for the next week. Here's a summary of what happened. Hinata was kidnapped by some missing nin from a place called Lost Heaven. Kurenai and Guy led a rescue team to bring her back. Everybody fought as hard as they can, but no one fought harder than Naruto. No matter how hard we fought, lost Hinata that day. And everybody's been hit hard by it, even me. The Hyuga household held a funeral for her 3 days ago. Normally only Hyuga clan members were allowed to attend a Hyuga funeral. They made Hinata a special case. Of those that knew her, only 2 people didn't appear. Almost everyone from both branches of the household were there. Neji was quiet the whole time, he never said a word. Hiyashi too, was just there, saying nothing, but we all knew, he was trying his hardest not to cry. All the teams were here too, Guy, Kakashi, Kurenai, Asuma, even Tsunade, Shizune, Konomaru, and an academy teacher. One of the missing was Hanabi, she's keeping herself in her room. I wish I could talk to her, or that she just talk. It's too hard to bear this kind of pain alone. I know. The other one was Naruto. He was well enough to get out of the hospital. Everyone was surprised at his quick recovery. At least how fast his body had recovered. His head is still in ruins. No, not his head, it's his heart. His heart has been shattered. I don't know if we'll ever be able to help him put the pieces back together. I just wish there was something I could do. When the funeral was over, L ran into Naruto on the way to the Hyugas. He wasn't wearing any formal wear, just his usual clothes. But what had really bothered me was his hands, they were bleeding. It wasn't from the old cuts but fresh new ones. We never knew what happened until the next day. Someone said that a portion of a training ground was found in bad shape. Naruto. Team Asuma was the first to recover. They had managed to help Lee and Kiba too. Shino, Guy and Kurenai also went back to normal. Kakashi, Tsunade, Konohamaru and Shizune were the next ones. Everybody else would need more time, like me, and especially Naruto. He hasn't said a word since he was released from the hospital. All he does now is look at us with sad eyes. Every attempt to cheer him up has failed. Sometimes he'll give us a smile, but there's no heart behind it. No happiness at all. I wish there was something I could do to help him, but what can I do? The loss of Hinata, it was such a great loss to him that he doesn't want to talk to us anymore. I don't think we'll be able to help him recover at all. Not me, his teammates, nor any of his friends. Right now, the only one that might be able to help him, is no longer here. Hinata, I can only hope that we'll be able to get through to him eventually. I want to see that very happy smile on his face again, even if it's only for a few seconds. I don't ever want Naruto to stay like this forever. I want the old Naruto. Always happy and energetic, giving everything his all. Perhaps that's the only way I'll be happy again. Tenten. Naruto enters the Hyuga graveyard quietly, hoping to find that one stone he's looking for. The sun was still in the sky, only just beginning to set. He doesn't know which way to go, but that was made simpler with the sight of Neji looking at one of the stones in deep thought. Naruto goes over there as silently as he could, stopping a distance behind Neji to let the older boy finish his thoughts. My father died. Neji spoke to him. The Hyuga knew the blonde was there, protecting the clan and the whole village. I'm still here. I failed to protect my own family. I failed as a Hyuga. Though Naruto couldn't see it, he could feel the older boy was shedding tears. Why am I still here? Neji just stood there for a while, holding back as much as his emotions as he could. still looking at the slab of stone that read, Hinata Hyuga. Naruto walks up behind him and puts a hand on his shoulder. Neji turns to the younger one, who had a sad face as well but never shed any tears. Naruto walks over to the stone and moves his hand back and forth across the top of it. Naruto never spoke a single word. Neji could see what he wanted to say. I know it's very hard to believe right now, but I don't want to think of her as dead. I just can't let her die, not like this. She is alive. As long as I'm alive, she is too. Naruto turns around and leaves Neji there. The words Neji saw, Naruto still has hope for Hinata, even now. What will you do, Naruto? Next morning, Sakura stands outside of Naruto's apartment. Naruto, Sakura called out through his door, knocking on it. Please come out, Naruto, it's almost noon. Silence. Naruto, don't do this to us. Do you need help? A janitor came by, the name on his badge says Hanataro. I can open it, I'm worried about him too, it's not like him to be this quiet. Sure enough, the janitor opened the door and Sakura slowly walked in. She took a slow peek around, hoping to find him somewhere. No luck, her worries had only increased as she saw the window wide open. The girl ran out quickly. Have you seen Naruto? Sakura asked Ino. No, isn't he still at his place? The blonde answered. He's not, Sakura said panting. I was just there. What a pain. Shikamaru rubs his head. Sakura, you go to the Hokage, Ino ordered. We'll ask around. Thank you. Team Asuma separates into 3 directions, one into a food court, as Sakura heads for the Hokages. Naruto, where could you be? Are you running away? That's not like you, you never run, never. Tsunade-sama, Sakura screamed. Tsunade's head immediately looked up and the Hokage could see something wrong. What happened? It's Naruto. He's gone. Sakura catches her breath. Tsunade just stares at her seriously, clasping her hand together in front of her. Do you know where he went? No. Ino, Shikamaru and Choji are asking around right now. Sakura's voice calmed down somewhat. I don't think it's anything to worry about just yet. But Naruto will have probably left for some secluded area, Tsunade told her. He just needs some time alone, Sakura. What if he doesn't come back? The younger girl's voice shaked. Tsunade closed her eyes for a second, thinking, I'll give him 24 hours. Any longer then I'll send Kakashi. Agreed. Yes, Tsunade-sama. Sakura never said another word as she left the office. I feel sorry for her, Shinuz broke the silence. It can't be helped, neither can Naruto. Sakura walks away from the building at a slow walking pace. From a distance, she could see Tenten coming for her. What did she say, Sakura? Tenten's voice sounded very worried. She's giving Naruto a whole day, Sakura answered slowly. She says he's only looking for some time alone. After that she's going to get a search squad to find him. Some time alone, the older girl repeated under her breath. I hope he'll be alright. Sakura looks at the sky. Come back to me, Naruto. Naruto jumps across the trees, away from Konoha. If only he had tried harder, none of this would have happened. He had let everyone down, Sakura, Hanabi, Neji, everyone that fought their hardest, all of them. Now because of him, Hinata is gone, but he knows she's not dead. Hinata's not dead, he'll prove it to all of them. It was the day of the funeral. But he doesn't want to be there. Instead he's at the place where he spoke with Hinata before the battle with Neji. Even if you did make a mistake, you were always, from my point of view, a proud man who makes lots of mistakes. You make mistakes, and you get stronger from them. Naruto punches the wood. Hinata, this something, I can never get stronger from. I see a ent, because I'm the one to blame, oot again. He continues to vent out his anger, sometimes unintentionally releasing the Kyuubi's power as well, shattering the wood. If only I was stronger, if only I had more power. None of this would have happened. Naruto silently releases his rage and anger in the form of fists, wrecking a good portion of the training ground. Too focused on his thoughts, a branch snapped from under him. Panicking, Naruto never managed to regain himself and lands hard on the forest floor. Wincing in pain, he sits up slowly and looks at the forest above him. The sun shines through some leaves onto his face. Ah, Did the little boy get hurt falling off the tree? A mysterious voice surprised him. Naruto looks around. He finds 3 men walking towards him. One had red hair and strange eyebrows. Another was bald while the last one looks like a very rough and physical character. Say Renji, the rough one started. Let's rob him. Not a bad idea Ganju, Renji replied. I always wanted to beat up a ninja. Akaku, hey, sounds like fun. The 3 of them laugh a bit before cranking their knuckles. Naruto quickly stands and makes his shadow replica sign. Hiranmara. The 3 men turned around. A cold blue dragon dives at them from above. Their faces showed great fear before the ice hit them. All 3 became human icicles before Naruto. As Naruto moves around them to find out what happened, he sees Hitsugaya walking towards him, sword in hand. You, Naruto growls, showing his teeth. I'm going to make you pay. You're going to pay for what you've done. Both Naruto's and the Kyuubi's aura whirled around him, his face exposing the features of the demon fox. Hitsugaya stops walking and points his sword forward. You killed Byakuya. Only a week has passed. You can't have recovered completely from your injuries against him. You can't fight me as you are. RRRR, why you? Ha. Naruto lunges forward, the swordsman sidesteps easily. Naruto continues his assault. Everyone is crying. Because of what you've done, all of my friends are in tears. Hinata. Hinata was our friend. You took her away, as is the job of a ninja, Hitsugaya talked back as he dodges the boy's attacks. You should know better than to let your emotions control you, especially in battle. The swordsman swings his blade, the blonde barely got away. No matter how powerful you are, letting your anger control you is a big mistake. I let everyone down. Naruto stands where he is, looking at the fist he made at his side. Everyone, Sakura, Hanabi, Neji, Lee, Guy, Kurenai, Tenten, Kiba and Shino. They all fought their hardest. They gave it everything they had, and I failed. I let everyone down. If only I was stronger, even just a little, I could have saved her. But, Naruto looks back directly at Hitsugaya. I know I can't change the past, yet I don't want what happened to be real. The past is gone, Hitsugaya spoke out. Face it, you weren't strong enough. Shut up. Naruto attacks again. Hitsugaya dodges. There is no way to change it, you lost. The swordsman yelled at him. You fought hard to save that girl, risked your life. In the end, you couldn't save her at all. Get over it. What do you know? Do you have any friends? Do you know what it feels like to lose someone close to you? Naruto barrages his opponent with both fists and questions. More. Then you know. Hitsugaya spoke under his breath, but it was enough for Naruto to hear. The blonde boy stopped his assault and gave the swordsman room. Hitsugaya relaxes himself and breathes outward. Because of our power, we were feared. Even in our own land, everyone was afraid of us. There were 10, Byakuya, me, Soi Fong, Rukia, Tusen, Konami, Shunsui, Urahara, Yoruichi, Yukataki and Hinamori Momo. Each one of us was much stronger than even Lost Heaven's standards. We were always given the hardest missions, to weaken us. On a solo mission, Byakuya's sister was killed while everyone else was on their own. Byakuya believed that Lost Heaven knew she wouldn't survive, and as soon as we were together he rebelled against the land. It was a fierce battle, we lost most of our friends. I never saw them but Tusen, Shunsui, Urahara, Yoruichi and Yukataki, all of them died fighting. Only me, Byakuya and Soifong survived. But what really hurts, was seeing someone I care about, dying right before my eyes. Hitsugaya bows his head. Hinamori. Hitsugaya flies to find her laying and bloody on the ground, surrounded by other bodies, one she had killed. An intense fire fills the whole area. Whitey-chan. The weak girl raises her arm towards him with the last of her strength. Hitsugaya was relieved to find that she's still alive. Hinamori. So you two know each other. An old man emerges from the flames. The sword he carries emits flames. You should say your last goodbyes. Hinamori. No. The young kid flies as fast as he can to the girl on the ground. Whitey-chan. The he. LP-less girl raises her arm some more as the ice-winged swordsman flies closer. A pillar of flame erupts from where the girl lay. Hinamori. Hitsugaya stops flying. his eyes wide as he watches the flames burn through the sky. Hina. Mori. No. The boy drops to his hands and knees, tears fall to the ground from his face. He grips his sword tighter. The old man waited for him to come. I fought as hard as I could, putting all my rage and anger into each one of my attacks. It was all in vain. My opponent was General Yamamoto, who was loyal to Lost Heaven. I never stood a chance. I almost died had Byakuya not saved me. Her last words, her dying breath. Everything is seared into my memory. I hate it. I hate having that memory. If anything, I want to forget what had happened, forget everything. You were lucky. You never saw the final moments of the one you cared about. But that is what we have in common. We lost someone close to us. Then you know how much I want to kill you right now, Naruto interrupted, tightening his fists. Yeah, I do, the swordsman replied, readying himself. But being this close to her, it can't be friendship. It has to be something even deeper. Naruto attacked furiously. You took Hinata away from us. You're the one that took her. And killing me won't bring her back. No, but it'll make me feel a lot better. Naruto continues his assault on the swordsman. The white-haired kid keeps his focus on defense, eventually counterattacking. You never answered my question, the swordsman began. What is she to you? I told you, she was a very close friend to me. I never want to lose anyone close to me. To be fighting this hard, to kill Byakuya, to believe she's still alive. She's more than a friend. Even now you're fighting for her. Why is that? Naruto swipes at him. Hitsugaya dodges and swings his sword. Now it's Hitsugaya's turn to be on the offensive. I already told you, Naruto shouted out. How many times do you have to know until I kill you? Until I get your real answer, the swordsman replied. Naruto jumps away to create distance and they stop where they are. What you told me, I can tell it wasn't true. Shut up. Your feelings for her, it's deeper than you let out. Just like mine until I saw her vanish before my eyes. Just shut up. You don't know your own feelings for something until it's gone. I said shut up. Then what was she to you? I loved her. There. Happy. Naruto stood dumbfounded as the swordsman relaxed and gave a smirk. Why did I just say that? Do I really love Hinata without even knowing it? She is the reason you're still alive, the swordsman started. She's the reason you were able to defeat Byakuya. The only reason. Why? Because I won't let you hurt any of my friends. That's why. I've seen friendship in battle. It barely makes a difference. To do what you did, it had to be more than friendship. It had to be something strong than that, much stronger. What is she to you? But what really hurts, was seeing someone I care about, dying right before my eyes. Your feelings for her, it's deeper than you let out. Just like mine before my eyes. You don't know your own feelings for something until it's gone. It's true after all, I never knew, even after all this time, what Hinata meant to me until now. Hinata, I really do. I'm sorry, Hitsugaya interrupted. I thought I heard something. Did you answer my question? Naruto pointed a finger at the swordsman. I said I love her. That is my real answer, got it? Now you're going to pay. I'm gonna make you regret ever coming. A loud rustle in the bushes disrupted him. Hitsugaya put his sword away and leaps over, disappearing into the leaves. Hey, get back here, Naruto yelled out as he chases the swordsman. He runs along the ground until he finds his opponent. Naruto was about to say something until he saw someone at Hitsugaya's feet. Hinata. That's right, I said you were lucky you didn't see her final moments. Now she just heard your feelings for her too. Whaaaat. You planned this all along. Naruto froze. He too joined Hinata on the forest floor unconscious. Hitsugaya looked on. As fainting common in your village. In the shadow they created by the sun, Hitsugaya's weapon had pierced through the girl's head. That is what is shown in the shadow. What the shadow had shown is different from what had really happened. Hitsugaya missed her completely. The blade hovered beside the girl's head. She looks up in surprise, the blade beside her and the young boy holding it in the air. His wounds react and he loses his strength. Hitsugaya-san. Hinata catches him and lays him down. The boy had lost consciousness. It had become night when he woke up. Hitsugaya sat up, wrapped in a familiar cloth. Ripped cloth from his jacket. Are you okay, Hitsugaya-san? Hinata asks him. Why didn't you run away? The boy asks in a low voice. Hinata looks at the ground. Because you were crying. You're alone now, just like him before. Him, Naruto-kun. Hinata looks back at him. He had no friends, no family. But he never cried. He was trying to be strong, and I know how hard it can be to be strong while being looked down upon. So you didn't want to be alone, or you didn't want to leave me alone? The wounded swordsman asks. Both. Is that why you didn't run when you had the chance? When I was deeply wounded? In a low, breathy voice the girl answered, yes. Did you know I wouldn't kill you? The swordsman asked. No, neither did I. The GHT sky shone through the forest as Hitsugaya looks at Naruto and Hinata. He had laid them down next to the fire. You really were lucky, Naruto, Hitsugaya talked to himself. The one you care about has heard your true feelings for her, while the one I cared about can no longer hear me. Sakura looks out at the night sky at her window. She can't sleep, not tonight. She's too worried about Naruto to rest easy. No one's been able to find him in the village. Tomorrow Kakashi will go out looking for him. What is really hurting her is that she now knows who Naruto really cares about. Sasuke-kun, thank you for that time you saved me from that grip of sand. No, the one who saved you was Naruto. To save you, that guy risked death. Up until now, you haven't really seen him, so you haven't seen his strength either. Naruto was really determined to save her. The enemy he fought, a missing nin from the land of lost heaven, that was an enemy I don't think I could battle. But Naruto did, and defeated him. Please come back, I don't want to lose you too. She lays down her head on her arms, drops of water flow from her face to the wood. Hiyashi kneels outside his young daughter's door. Hanabi, please let me talk to you. Just leave me alone. The little girl was on her bed, hugging her knees. The water in her eyes have yet to dry. Hanabi, I've never seen you cry, father, not ever. Not even for your own daughter, my Oni-san. She always cried. She always cried because she wanted to be good enough. She tried so hard, she was always getting stronger trying to become Hyuga again. Are you too proud of the Hyuga clan that there is no room for your heart for your family? Quote, Hiyashi was hurt by these words. He has never thought Hanabi would say such things. He knows he can't talk to her now. He silently gets up and walks off. Hanabi buries her head in her limbs, more water in her eyes than before. How is she, Hiyashi-sama? Neji was worried for his young cousin. The old man's face doesn't help at all. She still won't talk to me, the older Hyuga said in a depressed voice. I don't how long she'll be like this. She just needs time, we all do. Tenten stares out her window as well. If Naruto doesn't come back by noon tomorrow, Kakashi will take both her and Sakura to go look for him. She wonders what must be going through Naruto's head right now. Even though she might be able to do much, she wants to help in any way possible. Seeing him in that condition after the mission, blaming himself for the mission's failure. She wants to see the old Naruto again. The smiling, energetic, and youthful boy from before. She wants him back. Oi, Kakashi, should you be reading that this late? Guy asks the copy ninja. Probably not, was the reply. What did you come here for, Guy? Why are you taking Tenten with you tomorrow? It wasn't my decision, the calm ninja answered him. From what I heard from Tsunade that both her and Sakura asked to join me in the mission. I can understand Sakura, Guy spoke out. But I was surprised when I heard about Tenten. It's been a tough time for everybody, Kakashi told him. They're young, Guy, you know that. Yeah, so what are you going to do now, Hinata? Hitsugaya asked as the morning came. I don't know, the girl said confused. You want to return to your village, don't you? Hitsugaya-san, it's the least I can do for saving me, and staying by me. Naruto-kun, Hinata called out as she saw Naruto being confronted by three guys. Stay here, Hinata, and keep hidden, I'll take care of this. Hitsugaya-san, why? The girl turns to him. I owe him something, the swordsman answered. And there's something I want to know from him, it's something we both have in common and I want the truth. I won't be able to get it if you're around. Besides, you're nervous to see him again, aren't you? Don't come out until I call for you, can I trust you with that? Oh okay, she said uncertain. I'll save him, but I won't hurt him too badly either. Hitsugaya turned his head. Hinata slowly got up from her slumber. Hitsugaya-san. The sleepy girl woke up, then suddenly noticed the sleeping boy that was beside her. Naruto-kun. Shish. The swordsman put a finger to his lips. He's still knocked out from your reunion. He stands up slowly as Hinata stares at him. It's time for me to go. Where are you going? The girl asks curiously. The swordsman silently walks past her. I have some things to do. I've already brought you back home. You don't need me anymore. What will you do? You'll see me again. Don't worry about me. Thank you, Hinata. With that, he disappears into the forest as Hinata calmly sits near Naruto. I said I love her. That's my real answer, got it? Hitsugaya-san, thank you. After a few minutes, Naruto stirred around, then sat up suddenly. Hinata. The jolt made the girl give out a surprised yelp. Naruto-kun, are you alright? The boy stops his breathing and turns to her slowly. Hinata. He jumps on top of her, wrapping his arms around her tightly, solid tears flowing from his eyes onto the ground. Hinata. You're alive, you're alive. Hinata doesn't know what to do. Her face was all red from being this close to Naruto. She can feel and hear him crying hard. She can't help but begin to cry herself. Yeah, I'm back. Naruto continues to let his tears flow out as Hinata's hands went around him. I tried so hard to get you back. I thought I lost you forever. I didn't know what to do. Everyone believed you're dead. I didn't want to believe it. I didn't. Hinata. Naruto gently placed his head on her shoulder, still a great amount of tears. She embraced him closer to her, her own tears flowing out from her eyes. I loved her. Naruto-kun. You let out your feelings. Now it's my turn. Please hear me. Naruto-kun. Hinata closed her eyes as the boy let his emotions out. She slowly brought her head up to his ear. I love you. Naruto's head moved over hers. He wiped his tears with his clothing as he looked at the girl underneath him. Hinata's eyes were full of tears as well. She gently stroked his face with her hand as he was trying to restrain himself from crying anymore. Naruto brought his head over to hers, and their lips locked with great passion. It was soft and warm. It is something they never felt before. They didn't want it to end, only to go further. Naruto separated slowly, looking over the girl in his eyes, the most beautiful person he has ever seen, Hinata. Naruto-kun. Their lips locked once more. As Naruto gently felt her body, Hinata could feel great warmth coming from the one she loves. Hitsugaya was leaning behind a tree. He can only hear what was going on. They should have found a room. But I'm happy for both of you. Now it's time to put my ghost to rest and free myself from the past. Hitsugaya leaves them as quietly as he could, disappearing into the shadows, like the articles of clothing on two lovers. As the day shone through, Hitsugaya walks through the gate of Konoha. Naruto gently stirred in the bright morning light. He turns his head to see Hinata cuddled right next to him. Not wanting to disturb her, he lifts her head slowly and moves his other arm from underneath. Hinata hears a noise, causing her to wake up. She could just barely see the orange ninja finish putting on his jacket and headband. Naruto goes over to start the fire once again. While doing so, his head points towards Hinata to see her putting her own jacket back on. What are you doing, Naruto-kun? I'm making a fire for breakfast. He smiles at her. There should be a river nearby with fish. Again. I've been eating fish for the past week, Hinata exclaimed. Usually frozen. Quote? Naruto looks around quickly. Speaking of frozen, where is he? He had to do something, the girl answered him. He left last night. What is he going to do? He never said. But what really hurts was seeing someone I care about dying right before my eyes. Her last words, her dying breath. Everything is seared into my memory. I hate it. I hate having that memory. If anything, I want to forget what had happened. Forget everything. You were luck. You never saw the final moments of the one you cared about. But that is what we have in common. We lost someone close to us. Then, you know how much I want to kill you right now. Yeah, I do. We need to hurry back to Konoha. Naruto yelled out. Why? It's him. He's there right now. I know it, Naruto told her. That idiot, he's trying to get himself killed. Hitsugaya stares at all the genin in front of him. Sakura, Tenten, Neji, Lee, Shikamaru, Ino, Choji, Shino and Kiba. His hand is still on his sword, which he has yet to draw. But he is waiting for them to make the first move. Hitsugaya knew this would happen, he is ready for whatever is coming. Kakashi, Gai-sensei, please leave this to us, Neji told the two Junins. This is our fight, Neji. Don't worry Gai, I'm sure they can handle it. Hitsugaya tightened his grip on the sword. This is it. Sakura and Tenten were the first to move in. Hinamori, are you watching? The swordsman parries and counters several attacks, soon the other genin join the battle. I'm right here, waiting for everything to end. Hitsugaya swings his sword, only for the genin to dodge it easily. My past has haunted me for too long, now I fight against it. Just like Naruto did, he barely managed to move out of the way from Lee's kick. I blamed myself for what happened to you. The swordsman quickly goes on the offensive, swinging his blade all round until it connects with Tenten's staff. The enemy I faced was too powerful for me, even I knew I was going to lose. Hiranmara, Hitsugaya's ice dragon emerged and flew past the dodging genins. But all I wanted was revenge, I would have gladly died to cut off that old man's arms. The swordsman controlled the dragon to be more accurate, only to find his targets were surprisingly fast. I would have died too, had it not been for Byakuya. Naruto however, the genins returned to the offensive while keeping away from the dragon. Even if he failed to save her, he never once believed her dead. Hitsugaya was forced to flash step away from being cornered, however Lee had caught up with him and held him long enough for the other genins joined the fray. Is it because he was in denial, regardless of the circumstances? Tenten's staff and his sword connected, they swung their weapons furiously. Is it because he somehow knew she was alive? Sakura and Ino jumped in to help Tenten push back Hitsugaya, the dragon flies back around to protect the swordsman. No, it was because the swordsman dodged around Lee, Neji, Kiba, Shino and Choji's attacks as his dragon tracks down Sakura, Ino and Tenten. Even if Hinata's body did die, Hinata herself will never die as there was always a piece of her in Naruto's heart. Hitsugaya manages to knock Kiba and Choji away in time to retreat from Neji and Lee. The day Hinamori died, I lost all hope and she really did vanish. But now, this day, we will go together. Bankai, Naruto and Hinata race through the gates of Konoha. They looked around quickly to find the streets empty and some places damaged. Do you see him Hinata? No, the girl replied. I see ice, that way. Let's go. Naruto runs off, following her finger. Naruto stops to find a whole bunch of places covered in ice, leading off somewhere. He goes off, hot on the trail. Hinata chases the boy in orange. What's going on? It's him, he began. He wants to die. Hitsugaya-san. Hinata showed surprise and concern. Why? Naruto just looks at Hinata, she looks back him, both stare at each other eye to eye. It's because he wants to be with his loved one. The battle rages on. Somehow the Junins had managed to control the directions from the sidelines, taking everyone to a wide training ground. Arg! Hitsugaya stabs the ground hard with his sword. Crystals sprout out in 8 directions along the earth until they emerge as dragons of ice. 8-star dragon ring, king of ice Hiranmara. The genins do their best to fight back. Kakashi keeps Guy from interfering, but pulls his headband out from his eyesight. Guy, there are 2 types of battles. I know, Guy responded. A battle for life, and a battle for honor. Then you must know what battle this is. Yes, a battle for themselves, their honor, each one of them. A battle for the honor of the Hyuga clan, for the whole village. A battle for Naruto, and most importantly, for Hinata. Sakura hurls several small kunai at the dragons, each with a sack that bursts on contact. The sacks contained many tags, catching Hitsugaya off guard. The girl throws one more kunai, with an exploding paper. A massive blast followed, causing everyone to cover their faces. The smoke clears up. Hitsugaya's dragons had surrounded their master, only to begin shattering into tiny crystals. He floats, breathing hard. Kakashi puts the headband back over his eye. It's over. The genins close in on the weakened Hitsugaya. He fights them off as hard as he could, but the fatigue of the endless battle, the spirit of his foes, and their determination. His bankai shattered, Tenten stood over him, her foot on his chest, her staff in his face. Now, say goodbye. Hitsugaya closed his eyes and smiled. No, I'm not leaving anyone, I'm joining them. Tenten raised her staff above her head and brought it down hard. Stoop. Her staff hit the ground, right next to Hitsugaya's head. Naruto. Sakura gleefully cried his name. Neji shows a confused look, hinting of anger. Naruto, why? Naruto-kun, you're too fast, Hinata emerged from. Catching her breath. Hinata-sama. All the genins become wide-eyed. Tenten looks at Hitsugaya, in confusion she releases him. Everyone gathered around Hinata as Naruto walks over to the swordsman, who is just staring into the sky. The blonde stands over the white-haired boy. Why? I should be asking you that. I have nothing left here. No one. Hitsugaya trailed into silence. But you're the only one left. Naruto spoke to him solemnly. What will happen when you go? Will everything that they have done, that they are, just die with you? Hitsugaya keeps quiet, not saying a single word. Don't just throw it. Throw them away. There are still things that are here for you. We're still here. Naruto takes out his hand. You. Hitsugaya began forcing laughter out of his mouth. What will everyone else think if they saw me now? They will be relieved you didn't die. Hitsugaya and Naruto stare at each other, then their hands connected. That night a party was held at the Hyugas. Hitsugaya was invited to it too. It was only through both Naruto and Hinata that allowed him to keep on living. Naruto told them that during the whole time Hitsugaya had Hinata, he chose not to kill her, as he had such a long chance to do so. Hinata explained what had happened at Lost Heaven with Aizen, that the swordsman had protected her once he realized his intentions. Though a celebration, Hitsugaya just stayed in a corner, and no one bothered him. He just watched as all the others enjoyed themselves, usually by getting Hinata and Naruto to do all of the games together. It looks like they're not ready to go out in the open just yet, Hitsugaya tells himself as the pair ends up in an awkward position in Twister. She fainted again. He ends up giving a smirk. Go figure. As everybody else gathered around the red-faced girl, Hitsugaya starts to walk out onto the garden. Where are you going? The boy turns around to see Sakura had followed him. If I had my way, you would have hit the wall by now. It's because of him, isn't it? You care for him too. Hitsugaya hit the nail on the head. Don't ever come back to hurt us ever again. Especially him. Don't worry, I won't hurt anyone here anymore. Ice quickly formed on his back in the shape of wings. He was right, I do have some unfinished business to take care of before I join my friends. Please tell them, thank you. I don't know if I'll be back, but I know we'll see each other again. Hitsugaya flew upwards into the sky, leaving a trail of shining white crystals behind him. It will take some time, but I will see you again, Hinamori. The same way Naruto has found Hinata. Or rather, Naruto always had Hinata, but I will come back to you soon. The moonlight glitters on the crystals the flying boy left behind him, creating a glittering scene of shining lights in the sky.